season, and Martin Truex Jr. leads Kyle Busch by 208 points in the chase for the Busch Series championship. Hello everyone, I'm Bill Weber. Our TNT Race family welcomes you to Atlanta. More on today's race in just a few minutes. But we begin our coverage this weekend with a tragic story that unfolded 1 week ago and the somber days that have followed. Last Sunday, a twin-engine airplane carrying 9 members of Hendrick Motorsports and its extended family, along with the helicopter pilot for Tony Stewart, crashed after aborting a landing attempt near Martinsville, Virginia. There were no survivors. Federal officials say their investigation into the cause of the crash could take more than a year to complete. Our deepest sympathies go to the families, friends, and co-workers of those that were lost. It has been an emotionally draining week. First, the sorrow, memorial services Thursday and Friday. Cars were back on the track here yesterday. In just a matter of minutes, we return to racing. We begin our weekend tribute to the passengers and crew of RH501 with a reminder of the friends that we've lost, including one young man who was the car owner for 2003 Busch Series champion, Brian Vickers. John Hendrick had become a familiar face and force in this sport as president of Hendrick Motorsports. His 22-year-old twin daughters, Jennifer and Kimberly, were traveling with their father. Randy Dorton was head of the engine department at Hendrick Motorsports. He had been with Rick Hendrick since 1984. Jeff Turner was also a longtime employee of Hendrick. In 2002, he was named general manager of Motorsports. Joe Jackson was a 36-year employee with DuPont and was the director of Motorsports. Scott Lathram had been the helicopter pilot for Tony Stewart for the past year. Dick Tracy and Liz Morrison were both pilots for Hendrick Motorsports. Also on board, 24-year-old Ricky Hendrick, a former driver in the Busch Series and the Truck Series. At the age of 21, he won the truck race at Kansas in July of 2001.
From Dad. Rick, gotta be proud of this young guy.
Yeah, I really am.
A year later, a shoulder injury forced Ricky to retire from driving. But instead of leaving racing, he followed in his father's tire tracks into race team management. It was Ricky who heavily supported putting teenager Brian Vickers in his old Busch Series ride. With Ricky leading the team in his role as car owner, Brian won last year's Busch Series Drivers' Championship.
Come on. Come here. I just want you to stand with me. You don't have to talk. Come here. Come here. You know, without him, none of us would be here, so.
Ricky Hendrick had pizzazz and personality. He used them both in a professional manner. People in the sport had watched this boy grow into a man.
He had that Hendrick quality that you can't really explain. To this day, the last time he saw me, he called me sir, and they just never forget that.
I'm disappointed that on top of the hurt, that we will not get to experience Ricky mature, because he would be a great contributor to this sport over the next generation.
It was at this track that Ricky Hendrick raced against a young driver named Brian Vickers and said to himself, we need that guy racing with us, not against us. Today, Vickers, the reigning Busch Series champion, is a rookie in the Nextel Cup Series driving for Hendrick Motorsports. This race goes green in less than 15 minutes. Tomorrow, on a special edition of the Discover Card Countdown to Green, we will devote our entire pre-race program to those lost last Sunday. Our tribute will begin at 12 noon Eastern Time on NBC, preceding our coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Atlanta, presented by Home Depot. Again, tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern Time on NBC, our tribute to our friends that were on board RH501. Now let's go trackside here at Atlanta and join the pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please rise and remove your hats as the Lovejoy High School Air Force Junior ROTC present our national colors. Please welcome the Atlanta Motor Speedway track chaplain, Eddie Barton, as he delivers today's invocation, followed by a moment of silence.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we thank you for a beautiful day that you've given us here in Atlanta. We pray for the safety of every one of these drivers as they drive around this speedway. Father, I'm so thankful to live in a country, and I pray that you'll be with our President of the United States and our armed forces. And now, Father, I just want to offer our condolences today to the Hendricks family and to all of those that have lost loved ones. But, Father, you know what it means to do that, because one day you lost a son for us, and so you know how it feels. So today we want to go to the Lord in a moment of silence today as we observe that time in special tribute to the Hendricks organization. Amen.
Now, race fans, please remain standing and welcome RCA recording artist and American Idol finalist, Georgia's own Diana DeGarmo, as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rocket, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, Star-Spangled Banner wave o'er the land of the free. And the
It is a beautiful day in the Atlanta area. Sunny, breezy, high temperature, near 78 degrees. Enjoy the race. I'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern time on NBC with our special tribute edition of the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Now, time to send it upstairs to the three men that will call the Aaron's 312, Alan Bestwick, Wally Dollenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Bill, thank you. With all the talk of NASCAR competitors being such a family, some might not understand how the racers can be here ready to compete when some of their family members are hurting so. But BP, in reality, for this sport, getting onto the racetrack and competing is the best place to be.
Yes, we saw Lance McGrew and that crew standing on pit road just a moment ago with their GMAC t-shirts on, Ricky Hendricks' old sponsor. And if they were not here, they'd be back home worrying and thinking about Ricky Hendrick and the things, the good times they've had together. They're here focused on the job at hand, trying to get Kyle Busch to victory lane in that 5 car.
And so we turn our attention to today's 312-mile race on one of NASCAR's fastest track. Wally, fast and fun for the drivers today.
And terrifying. This place could be terrifying if you don't have your car right. It's very tough to get a balance here, and that's what everybody tries to do. Get the car comfortable, but also be fast. But a lot of the guys are complaining about the cars being loose getting into the corners. This place is so fast, you carry so much speed getting into the corner, and the car wants to get sideways getting in. It's terrifying. So it's all going to be about balance and who's got the best feeling and handling the race car today.
Got 11 drivers in the field today who've never run at Atlanta Motor Speedway before. It'll be interesting to see how they handle the fast, fun, and sometimes terrifying racetrack. The engines will fire and the race will begin when we come back after this. The Aaron's 312 on TNT is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. By Aaron's, let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. And by YJ Stinger, the extreme energy drink. Catch the buzz, feel the sting. There are 4 races remaining in the 2004 NASCAR Busch Series season. 4 races to settle the championship. A championship race that's come down pretty much to 2 drivers.
Yeah, it sure has. Kyle Busch is 208 points back, and Truex Jr. just keeps finishing well, and that's going to be difficult for Kyle Busch to catch, because unless Truex has difficulties, not going to catch him.
No, he's got to have some kind of problem. And today, Truex starts on the front row. Not bad.
So we'll see as each of those drivers in search of their first Busch Series championship, driving for 2 of the premier organizations in motorsports, and they both qualified pretty well for today's race. Weather, beautiful. Couldn't ask for a better day for racing. Temperatures in the mid-70s, some partly cloudy skies here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and 43 drivers now strapped aboard their machines, getting ready to begin the longest race of the NASCAR Busch Series season, the extra 12 miles on top of the 300 at the super fast Atlanta Motor Speedway. Plenty of challenges between green and checkered flags. Let's go trackside and get started.
And now, race fans, the moment you've been waiting for, the start of today's Aaron's 312. Please welcome our Grand Marshal, the Honorable Andrew Young, Chairman of Good Works International, for those most famous words in motorsports.
When NASCAR cranks up, you crank up the whole American economy. So, gentlemen, please start your engines.
Star-studded fields here at Atlanta today, set to go 312 miles. Did you know that those in the race today account for some 181 NASCAR Busch Series victories between them, including the winningest driver ever in series history? The green flag is next.
Hi, I'm Dave Bogan with Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership.
Hi, I'm Jody. I'm Celentria, and we're the Aaron's Dream Girls.
We'd like to welcome you to the Aaron's 312.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the drama of 12 extra miles.
The Atlanta Motor Speedway and NASCAR on TNT with the Aaron's 312. Those 12 extra miles, will they make a difference in who wins the race this afternoon? Field of 43 starters rolling off the pit lane out onto this fast mile-and-a-half track to begin their 3 parade and pace laps. Let's take a look at how they'll start.
Mike Bliss has a great run at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. The victory on the pole for today's race alongside Truex Jr.
Yeah, Kyle Busch, he's not letting Truex out of his sights, is he?
He can still see him from row 2.
Reed Sorensen, a youngster from the Atlanta area, driving a Ganassi entry from row 3.
Mike McLaughlin, Marines car, Casey Kane.
Casey Kane, Greg Biff, we might see the victory come from one of these 2 guys.
16 drivers in today's race, including Biffle and Kane, who will also compete in tomorrow's Nextel Cup race.
And you got Stremme in the 14 car now.
David changed this week.
Who are you going to talk to, BP?
Let's go way back in the field.
Deep in the field.
Deep to the 35th position. Try to talk to Ron Hornaday Jr. Ron Hornaday, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Got you, BP.
Hornaday, you're way, way back there.
To remind me that, Gil and the guys did an awesome job on the Dinky Donko Chevrolet. The other one's going to be busy today is PJ. He's going to be my spotter, but we've got a good race car. We'll see.
You got some kind of plan to get up there?
A lot of restarts.
Oh, the famous Hornaday restart, huh?
We're just a little loose qualifying here, and I think we got it figured out here. So we'll see. They're working real hard. I mean, everything's getting ready for Clint Boyer next year, so we're just trying different things for him. So we'll see what we got.
Well, good luck to you, Ron. The restarts.
He's going to win a lot of restarts.
I'm telling you, the guy, when they restart these races, he is awesome.
From 35th place, he needs about 30 cautions. Hey, he better pass a few of them without that. Final stories from pit road before the green flag. Matt Yoakum leads us off.
Alan Martin Truex Jr. enters Atlanta with a 208-point lead. He continues to have impressive runs and increase that advantage, not by points racing, but by winning races. 6 times this year he's gone to victory lane. 3 of those have come at racetracks he'd never raced on before. Today, he's hoping to add Atlanta to that first visit, first win list. He's on the front row for the 12th time this year, starting second. And Marty Snyder, many believe he has the car to beat today.
Matt, it's no secret that this is a pivotal race for Kyle Busch. If he hopes to win the Busch Series Championship, they need to run well, and they also need a little bit of luck, and the luck may have already started. Lisa Smokestad, the tire specialist, found this bad valve stem core in the left front tire of Kyle Busch's car just now. The tire was leaking air. It probably would have lasted about 10 laps had she not found it, and his championship hopes definitely would have been gone then. They know they can run well. They've already had a little good luck today, and they hope they can put it together for a victory this afternoon. Dave?
Marty, Mike Bliss captured the third pole position of his Busch Series career on Friday when his car was at its best. Before and since, it has been a handful. I talked to Mike this morning. He said they made a lot of changes. I asked him what lap 1 would be like in that scenario. He said, I'm going to drive it hard down into turn 1, and we'll see what happens. I make it through turn 1, we'll focus on turn 2. It's going to be an interesting start to the race for Mike Bliss.
Man. Oh, wow. Tell you what, there's about 42 other guys hoping he makes it through turn 1.
Yeah. Including the guy on the outside of him.
Talked about Kyle Busch. That, of course, a Hendrick Motorsports entry here this weekend. And another driver with a heavy heart this week, David Green, driving the 37, the former series champion. Remember that when Ricky Hendrick stepped out of that number 5 Busch Series car a couple of years ago, this was the man who slid in and finished that season.
Yeah, I talked to David Green about that this morning. He said there's no doubt that Ricky Hendrick revived my career. I was going no place until they put me in that 5 car, and I showed some folks, Clarence Brewer, the owner of this 37 car, what I could do, and I'm back racing and winning races.
David starting from 13th place today, hoping to wind up in victory lane. That is hanging on the pit box in the Hendrick Motorsports pit today. So we get ready to go racing here at Atlanta. 312 miles. It'll take 203 laps to make up that distance on this 1.54 mile track. 4 races to go in the championship. Martin Truex leading Kyle Busch by 208 points. And at least 2 pit stops to make the distance before the checkered flag will come.
At least 35 seconds before you can catch your breath.
All right. Mike Bliss said he was going to drive that 20 car hard down in turn 1 and see what happens.
This the part where you hold your breath?
You're still holding it. Right in here, you start gasping for air.
Oh, they're going to make it 3 wide off the first corners.
This was a little bit loose, it looked like, right there in the center. So he's in the middle, not a good place to be.
3 wide for second. Kevin Harvick sliding through on the bottom. Kyle Busch in the outside lane, and Truex goes to the lead.
I think we'll see a lot of cars in that high line today. If these guys are really complaining about getting in.
4 wide for just a second, and that was Johnny Sauter in the 27 car that did a great job regaining control of it.
Bounced off of by Paul Menard in the 11th.
They're still bouncing around.
Trouble! McLaughlin's into the wall, and it's Bliss that's involved.
Oh, easy!
Oh, Johnny Sauter with a big hit.
And Sauter had already hit something very hard before that.
At least 3 cars involved on the back straightaway. It began in the vicinity of a 3 wide race for about 4th place coming off turn 2. And you see the results.
Off turn 2, they got 3 wide, and there just wasn't enough room for 3 cars.
There's Casey Mears involved in it. See Johnny Sauter's dropped his window net. That's a good sign. That's his signal to the safety workers that he's basically okay.
Who calls that, Bob? I don't know who it was.
Jason Keller also involved. Some heavy damage to the 22 car.
Counting 5 cars all totaled with some pretty significant damage here.
Well, let's take a look at what happened. See, man, that was tough. It looked like Mike Bliss was stuck in the middle. It looked like the 25 car. Well, it's hard to see from that angle. I don't know what happened to Johnny Sauter there.
I guess he just tried to dodge the wreck and ran into the inside wall. Yeah, it looked like that McLaughlin came off the corner and didn't realize that there was a car up on the outside, the 3 deep. He thought they were just 2 wide, and he took that into account, but unfortunately there were 3 cars there.
Yeah, he definitely looked like he drove up to the right into Mike Bliss.
That's Casey Mears that's pinned to the outside of Bliss.
Yeah, got into Casey there. Watch the 25 car as he kind of drives. Well, that a different angle there. It looked like he was just saving it.
Like he got loose coming off the corner, and when he was trying to gather it up.
Saved it, yeah. Whatever the case,
this is Shane Neal.
Man. On board with Jason Keller.
This won't be good.
No, this is not going to be good. Listen.
Start easing up, ease up.
He got hit.
Looking inside, real easy.
Yeah.
Somebody got into him.
And from Michael Waltrip's view.
Been in front of him, man. Backing down there, up high.
Ashton Lewis?
Backing down there, all up high, all up high.
Ashton Lewis is the one that got into Jason Keller.
But what happened to Sauter? There he is. He's going to get clipped by Justin Labonte right there.
Yeah. I get turned in the inside wall and just missed a safer barrier.
A shot.
Probably 130, 40 miles per hour head on the inside wall.
Nasty.
Just close racing. Didn't look like anybody's really fault. It's just
real close. So some of the cars still in the accident scene being cleaned up, and some of the cars who were able to drive away on pit road, Dave.
And they're trying to see if they can keep the 20 car in this race in its damaged condition. Mike came on the radio and basically just said to the guys, nobody gave me any room.
Well, we saw that. He was in the middle, and McLaughlin was inching up against him, and Casimir's on the outside.
So caution is out just a few laps into the race. The race for 4th place off of turn number 2 goes bad. 5 cars heavily damaged in the aftermath. We'll be back to Atlanta after this. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. TNT Sports live at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where a 5-car crash on lap 3 has slowed the Aaron's 312 to a cautious pace.
And there you see the cars involved, and I think Casimir's out of his car, isn't he?
Yep, and he's standing by right here, BP. Car's a mess. What happened?
I don't know. Just everybody was just kind of getting started. I got loose on the bottom in 1 and 2 right on the start, and it got me to the top, so I was kind of trapped up high and got on the outside of the 20, and he was giving me plenty of room coming off of turn 2 there, and then he just turned a hard right, so I think someone got into him and then got into me, and really we were just kind of riding. I wasn't even trying to pass him. We just had a big run, and he gave me plenty of room, and then it's like he ran out of room. So I don't know exactly what happened below him, but it looked for sure like someone hit him, and then
you were aware you were 3 wide.
Right when all that happened, yeah.
Okay. Short day for these guys, Alan.
Mayhem reigns supreme where Casey Mears is concerned. Cleanup continues here in Atlanta. Major repairs needed on Jason Keller's car. Among those, behind the wall getting fixed up after the lap 3 5-car crash on the backstretch.
He definitely needs a new hood.
And radiator, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So cleanup just about done. We're getting set to go back racing. Martin Truex Jr. is the leader. Kyle Busch is second. Those two back-to-back on the racetrack. Imagine that. The story of the season in the Busch Series so far. Kevin Harvick slipped through the wreck in 3rd. Greg Biffle 4th. Shane Neal 5th. David Stremme is 6th. Interesting in that they both switched rides this week. Neal is in Stremme's old ride. Stremme is now driving Casey Atwood's former mount, the Navy car, the 14.
David Green, that Green car got a terrific run, or someone got a poor start.
Yeah.
And while we watch the restart action, let's check back in with Dave.
And sometimes, Alan, you think you got a wreck missed, and then someone behind you, Jason, isn't that true? Doesn't check up in time.
Yeah, just unfortunate. Qualified bad and got back there with all the guys. But I was driving okay yesterday and happy. Just you know, being out this early, really don't know what we had. But tell Devin and the kids I'm okay. But you know, it's just it's been one of those kind of years. You know, we just haven't been able to get things rolling, and it's not from a lack of effort. The guys are working hard. Just seems like we can't get things going.
In a press release this week, Jason stated, Atlanta has never been very kind to me. It hasn't been again today, guys.
It definitely continues on. We saw a pass fast for the lead. While we're talking to Jason Keller, as Kyle Busch takes that 5 car to the front.
And now Truex, second place driver in the 8, beginning to feel some pressure. Harvick in the 29 and Biffle in the 60, closing in.
Yeah, look, Biffle looking pretty good up there on the high line. Marty?
Wally, at the epicenter of all that was Mike McLaughlin. So what started the wreck? We haven't figured it out yet.
You know, that's a good question. Until I look at the replay, I can't really say what happened. I was under the 20. Felt he had plenty of room there. It was definitely a lane. Next thing I know, I was turning to the right. So usually when that happens, you've been clipped from the center of the car back anyway to turn you that direction. So not really sure. I'll look at it and go from there. But, you know, it's just a short day. Hate it for the Marine Corps. Just doing my best to get that baby up front. Just didn't get that far along in the program.
And I talked to Mike McLaughlin this morning. We talked about, well, you talked about a lot of the drivers complaining about being loose getting in and that twitchy feeling. He did not. He said my car was terrific getting in, so he could have a very good day today.
Got a pretty good race for second going on here.
Well, yes. Biffle in the 60 car is closed right on the back of Truex in 8. All right. Biffle's looking pretty good early, Matt.
Working all over the back of that 8 car, BP. Under the caution, he told Brad Parrott, his crew chief, the car was dancing around a little bit at the start, so I just took it cautious. But you can see he is quickly moving to the front. In fact, Brad Parrott told me this morning, this car has been so good all weekend. This morning, they made one change, BP, for today's race, a slight camber change.
They usually make about 6 or 7 small changes. If the car is perfect, they make 6 or 7 small changes.
Wrapping up, sorry, Juan.
Just to say, if you have a good car handle, that handle here, you don't want to mess with it too much. If it comes off the truck in good shape, you don't want to tweak it too much because it's so hard to get a car that handles good around here.
Here's a guy that's flying. Robbie Gordon in that 55. He started way back in 21st place, BP. He's up to 7th.
I'll tell you one thing, that 38 car is no slouch. You ever see Biffle finally gets on the inside of Truex and goes to second?
He'll be going to first here in a little while.
It looks like he's pretty quick right now.
Defending winner of this race, Greg Biffle, won it a year ago. Mixing it up for 4th place on back.
Harvick loses a spot to Shane Meal in the 32, and here comes Tremmy in 14 trying to get by.
Now, you know, Stremme doesn't want to see that 32 car in front of him very long.
Movement this week in the NASCAR Busch Series. David Stremme signing with Fitz Bradshaw Racing, a team owned by Terry Bradshaw and Armando Fitz. The Navy Recruiting Command sponsorship re-upped, and they signed a technology deal, an engineering support deal for engines and so on with the Ganassi Racing team.
With Felix Sabates, Armando's father-in-law. Makes sense to me.
And on the other side of the coin, Shane Meal replacing David Stremme in the 23 for Todd Braun's racing team. And Shane Meal being the son of Steve Meal, the technical director for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. They're going to switch to Chevrolets for next season and run DEI engines.
Makes sense to me.
Sounds like it's all coming together. How about the 14 car, Matt?
Well, Jay Guy, the crew chief, told me really their goal is to win races and run up front. And his role is a little bit different this weekend. He's the bridge for David to relate to the Chevrolet. Randy Cox, who was his crew chief over the 32 car, came with Stremme, and he's the bridge for David to relate to Jay Guy, trying to speed up that learning and chemistry process between driver and crew chief.
So they got translators. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, BP.
Right.
Stremme gets a spot. 6th spot. And here we go. Yeah, as I was saying earlier.
Wow. Now that was a powerful move. Came off turn 4. Biffle did. The 60 turned left and drove under the 5 and said, okay, Kyle, you've had your turn. It's my turn.
Looks like he got the 5 a little bit loose getting off before there. Got up behind him and took some air off the spoiler. In the meantime, here comes Truex in a hurry.
Lap 20, Greg Biffle to the point. By the way, wrapping up the first caution, Johnny Sauter declined our request for an interview. New leader Greg Biffle here in Atlanta. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Busch Series underway on a beautiful afternoon. And Greg Biffle, the race leader, beginning to feel a little bit of heat, and it's not just from the temperature.
Yep, company in the mirror. Martin Truex Jr. right there, and Shane Meal in the 32 car is closing in on both those guys.
Our Stacker 2 track fact, 3 drivers have scored their first NASCAR Busch Series win at this speedway. Some pretty big names.
As a matter of fact, Jeff Gordon's victory here in 1992 is what caught the eye of Rick Hendrick, who asked him to drive for him in the NASCAR Winston Cup then, the DuPont car.
So your top three, Biffle, Truex, and Shane Meal, with Kyle Busch falling about a second and a half back from these three. And that's just look at the lines those drivers are taking around the racetrack. It's what the drivers love about this speedway.
They can run the bottom and the middle, the top, whatever. I mean, you can run the bottom if your car's not loose. And it doesn't look like Shane Meal's car is very loose, because he seems to be able to get down right on the bottom and hook it all the way through.
Now that the 8 car started looking in the rearview mirror, Greg Biffle has pulled away from him a little bit. Just being distracted that little bit by Shane Meal has cost him some speed around the racetrack. Talk about Truex in the 8.
Shane Meal has been running the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for most of this 2004 season. A few sporadic Busch Series starts thrown in here and there, Dave.
And his father, Steve Meal, spotting for him today and making his way through traffic with his son, telling him where they are and how to get through. And you need a little help from your dad sometimes.
Mostly it's money you need from your daddy.
Oh, don't say that. My sons might be watching. Second place. So Shane Meal got it rolling nicely for the Trim Spot team today. Somebody else got it rolling nicely. Matt Kenseth.
Well, there he is. The 17 car has moved up to the 9th position as he pulls in behind Robbie Gordon. Marty?
That's a pretty good pickup, isn't it, BP?
It is.
For the old 17 of Matt Kenseth. That you would say he's going somewhere. Matt told me that the car got loose in qualifying. That's what happened. They knew they had a much better car than that. They knew it would race well today. And you polled the crew chiefs in the garage area this morning. They said Matt was the car to beat. Give him some time. He'll be to the front. Cully Buracall's crew chief told me this morning, and he's going that way.
That guy behind him's trying to go somewhere, too.
He did. He did not want the 17 to go by him. That is Robbie Gordon, that 55 car behind Matt Kenseth.
And Robbie said 7th. He started at 21st position, I believe. He's got a pretty good car.
And just to recap, Matt Kenseth took the green flag back in 28th spot. That is moved up to 7th now.
And the 41 car of Reed Sorensen, who's alongside Robbie Gordon right now. Just a young guy. What a terrific lesson he's getting today, watching Kenseth and Robbie Gordon and the lines they're taking around the racetrack. This is why that next up Cup drivers need to run in the Busch Series, to teach the Reed Sorensens of the world how to drive these racetracks.
Reed Sorensen, not a familiar name to you. He's 18 years old. Yes, 18.
What?
Out of Forest Park, Georgia, in the Atlanta area here. This is Chip Ganassi, development driver. Brian Patty, the veteran Busch Series crew chief, is overseeing this operation. I talked with Brian about Sorensen yesterday. He said, sharp kid.
He's developing pretty well, if you ask me. Oh, here we go. Shane Meal, the 32 car, going for the lead, and he led that lap.
Actually, they're going to check the camera on that just to be sure.
But Biffle, the 60 car, not so quick.
Camera being the photo finish camera at the start-finish line. If you're new to NASCAR, 5 bonus points for leading any lap during the race toward the championship, so that's why it's important who leads officially each and every lap.
The computer said last lap that Meal beat Biffle by 3 thousandths, and all of a sudden, he slows off turn 4.
The drive shaft or something, transmission or something.
Oh, man.
Well, I hope he at least led that one lap, because it's going to be a short day from here.
The problem is they're running these cars so soft, they're going down, and the drivetrain is hitting the racetrack, the flywheel and things like that hitting the racetrack. And it has thrown something out of kilter, and it talked like the drive shaft, something in the drive train gave a problem. But
well, there's good news, BP.
What's that?
He did actually officially lead that lap.
If he lost the drive shaft, where is it? I mean, it.
Just 4th gear is all it is. It's 4th gear to transmission.
Must be inside the
y'all made that lap.
Yeah, well,
Well,
doing fine, fellas. It looks like he's going to make it. I'm assuming he's in third, guys.
Lost fourth gear in the transmission.
Boy, that's tough.
How in the world can fourth gear break?
I'm sure that's what they'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean, you're riding along and you're hooked up. Well, should I don't hear it? See.
Yeah.
Listen. It made a racket, I know that.
That's what it sounds like when you lose fourth gear.
Broken the motor. Now the drive shaft or something.
Well, he can't run around the racetrack in third gear because they turn the maximum RPM in fourth gear, so anything else would be way too many. Battle for second spot.
Kyle Busch in the 5, trying to go by Martin Truex Jr. in the 8. Our 2 championship leaders in the NASCAR Busch Series.
Well, these guys are going to and fro. I mean, looks like the 8 car was going to be slower than the 5, and he passed him back. Now it's reversed.
Little racing rivalry you're looking at there as these 2 drivers have competed very hard for this championship this season. Greg Biffle, the leader here in Atlanta. NASCAR on TNT with the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Busch Series at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Just past the 50-mile mark of the race, and Greg Biffle out in front. Let's take you through the field. We lead off with Matt Yoakum.
And Greg Biffle in that 60 car there just past the halfway point where they're going to make their first pit stop somewhere around lap 66. He wants a slight air pressure adjustment in the right rear tires as the car tight down in 3 and 4. Pretty good down in 1 and 2. Also the championship point leader Martin Truex. A great battle going on with the 5. He's taking the high side. He's going to go for an air pressure adjustment possibly also. The car was loose on exit earlier. Marty started to fade, but he's starting to move back up.
And Matt Lucas right behind him. The 5, the second place man in the championship, Kyle Busch. He too about 20 laps away from a pit stop. Says he has no rear grip through the corners. That's the problem for him. Matt?
Closing in on the 1-year anniversary of Casey Kane's only Busch Series win at Homestead last November. Currently runs 4th, riding that high line, rim riding. He didn't lock it up, but it was a close call. That first caution, he's slightly tight on exit, Marty.
From 28th to 5th for Matt Kenseth, and he is coming a little bit loose entering turns 3 and through the corner. Talking about a wedge and air pressure adjustment on the first stop. Same car he won with at Texas and finished second a couple weeks ago at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Reed Torrenson, the kid from Georgia, 18 years old, in his 3rd Busch Series start, starting to pick up a little steam. Be patient. They said don't use up your stuff early in the run. And here he comes. Car just a little bit tight for Reed, pitting on lap 65 or so. Matt?
Marty, the winningest Busch Series driver, Mark Martin, back in the 9 car, running in the 7th position. He's been quiet on the radio most of the race, and then about 9 laps ago, all he said, I want a ½ a pound of air pressure in the right rear tire. Meanwhile, David Stremme in the 14 car said the car was loose in the center of all and off. Now the key for his crew chief Jay Guy and Randy Cox, Randy to tell him is we've got a battle for the lead. Randy to tell Jay exactly how much loose is loose.
Casey Kane just passed Truex and Busch the same corner that last lap. 3 and 4 went to the bottom, and he's doing the same thing to Biffle.
Wow. Yeah, 1 lap later.
1 lap later. So he passed the top 3 cars in basically a lap.
And he looked like he was shot out of a canyon, I'm telling you.
A canyon?
Canyon?
It's an old joke.
Could he even try that once? No, never mind. That was into the canyon.
Yes.
All right, we were going through the field. We pick up with Robbie Gordon, 9th place. Marty?
Alan, it was supposed to be over the canyon. Didn't quite work out, did it?
No.
As you see on the screen, Robbie Gordon started 21st. He is currently 9th. He was in a 4-wheel slide about midway through this run, though lately the times have gotten a little bit better for Robbie. Dave?
For Kevin Harvick, I talked with his crew chief, Chris Hussey, this morning. He said, we left the car a little free, and we might have a top 5 car. Well, unfortunately, they didn't leave it a little free enough, and it has tightened up on him. For the 92 of Tony Stewart, well, that car has gone tight as well. It's a good race car, just a little bit pushy in the turns right now for Tony. Matt?
And Paul Menard in the 11 car, 7 top 20 finishes he and Tony Gibson have put together since Menard went to DEI. Hasn't said a whole lot on the radio. He's been trying to run that high line like Casey Kane. Meanwhile, J.J. Yaley, another young driver, is trying to log miles and earn some experience. He says his car is loose on exit, Dave.
A little loose as well for the 66 car of Jamie McMurray, but that's better because they did pit under that first caution, made a wedge and track bar adjustment because the car was tight. So it's going the right way, Marty.
Robert Presley's had a tight race car for most of the afternoon. They've been very happy with it at the early part of the run, but it's gotten a little worse the longer he's run. He started 25th. He is up to the 15th position. Tim Fedewa having a nice little run right now. His car a little bit tight. All the changes going on with their team. They, too, will go to Dodge next year. Fedewa is safe in this car for next year. How about the run for Randy LaJoie? Hopping into the seat last minute. Ran happy out. It's the only practice he got in the car. Started dead last on the field. Currently in the 17th position. LaJoie's car is a little bit loose in the center of the corner. Kenny Wallace talking about adding a full spring rubber to the right front spring when they come in for their stop. That means the car extremely loose for Wallace. Tried to qualify for the Cup race, did not make the race, so this is the only race of the weekend. 37 car of David Green, very loose for Green as well. Said, I just can't turn the wheel like I would like to in the middle of the corner. As you see, started 13th, he's fallen back to 19th. David?
The 99 car of Michael Waltrip started 18th today. He has dropped back a couple of positions because that car, too, is tight. It will not turn in the corners. Marty, back to you, my friend.
Thank you, David. Ron Hornaday started 35th. He's made slow but steady progress up to the field. So he's really good getting into the corners, tight off of the corners. He said he feels like he used too much early in the run. And Wally, you know about this, he might have burned off the right rear tire.
Yeah, that's not good here. He burned off the right rear tire.
And he's only had one restart. So.
Yeah.
Like he told us when we talked to him on the pace lap. So there are 21 of the 25 cars on the lead lap at this point. About 10 laps away from green flag pit stops here in Atlanta. Casey Kane is your race leader. There is a new leader in the Aaron's 312 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Big time. Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, has fought his way to the front and is now pulled out to a 2 1/4 lead on Casey Kane.
It's just been going back and forth. It's been odd here. You get guys that run really, really good for 5 or 6 laps, and all of a sudden here comes somebody else, and
away he goes.
And away he goes, and away Matt goes.
So Matt Kenseth out in front of Kane. Now Mark Martin up to 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, and Martin Truex Jr. 5th. At the racetrack this weekend and throughout the rest of the near future, you're going to see a lot of blue wristbands around the speedway. It is called Life is a Team Sport. It's a wristband to benefit the Hendrick Marrow program, and it's a way a lot of the people here are showing their support for the Hendrick family. You can get one by making a donation to the Hendrick Marrow program, and if you'd like to find out more, go to NASCAR.com. I know we've all got one on, and another way of letting everyone know we're thinking of it.
Yes. I tell you what, I'm impressed with this 41 car, Reed Sorensen. He has gone by Truex Jr., the 8, right behind Busch in the 5. Man, oh man, this is a battle for the 4th position. Marty?
Yeah, BP, if you had Brian Patty barking in your ear the entire first part of the run saying, don't go now, don't go now, save your stuff for the end of the run. When they tested here last week, he ran over 320 miles during the test. They wanted to make sure that he was good at the end of the run. It worked. Car's awfully good right now, isn't it, BP?
Yes, it is. It's fantastic.
Wally and I were looking at the same thing in that last set of corners. One thing you better keep an eye out for is not going too low in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, you don't want to get below that white line on the bottom and get the apron, and that's going to really send the car for a spin up the racetrack.
See him
and he's right there.
Oh,
he's right down on it, so got to be careful.
Race leader we hear is getting ready to come to pit road.
Matter of fact, there we see him going by Gus Watson in 10. Marty, what about the 17? How much longer?
He's having fun. They were going to come down this time. They're going to come down next time, or actually right now for the 17. Matt said on the radio, look at all the fun we would have missed if we would have qualified well. He had fun coming up through the field. Clearly has the fastest car. They're going to make small adjustments on this pit stop, BP.
Okay.
I would. I would make big ones.
Yeah, exactly. Real small ones.
Teams are allowed to change 3 sets of tires under caution today, but this, a green flag stop, won't count against that total, Marty.
That's right, Alan. So they're going to change tires here. It'll be a 4-tire change for the 17 bunch car. They're a little bit loose, as we talked about earlier. Half a round down on the track bar, half pound on the right rear tire. That should tighten up just a little bit for Matt. In fact, he said on the radio to Cully, his crew chief, don't do much, just do a little bit because we're close. Matt?
And Greg Biffle came on the radio, said, it's like I flipped a light switch. My car was great, and then it was horrible. The car just feels like we have no grip in the front. They're going to make a significant wedge adjustment and shuffle the air pressure. You can take a look at that left front tire. You can see how he has worn right down to the radio, that outside shoulder. To Marty.
Reed Nate Sorensen just a little bit tight at the end of that run, but Brian Patty decided to make no changes to the chassis, so it'll be 4 tires. The only thing Reed wanted was a tear away from the windshield, and he got it. A bag is stuck on the front hood. That won't. Oh, man, makes contact with Tim Fiedel leaving pit road.
The bag might not be a problem, but that might be.
Yep.
And because of the huge differential in speed in fresh tires and older tires, as soon as Matt Kenseth made that first move to pit road, here they all came.
Sure. Looks like the grill is caved in just a little bit, but I don't think anything else. Let's take a look here.
Yo!
Yeah, he just got the grill.
Yeah, just left upper grill. Marty?
BP, that was the discussion on the 5 teams radio that Matt Kenseth forced everybody else's hand here. Car 2 loose for Kyle Busch. They went down 1 round on the track bar. They also pulled a spring rubber from the right rear spring. That should tighten it up. Matt?
The 38 is down and away. They made a track bar adjustment, an air pressure adjustment. He was too tight in traffic. Meanwhile, the championship point leader was in also. They made a wedge adjustment for Martin Truex Jr.
Casey Kane and Truex Jr. away. That puts the race lead in the hands of Mark Martin for now, yet to make his pit stop. Then it'll be Jamie McMurray, Michael Waltrip. Oh, and here comes Mark in.
Along with the 59 car, Stacy Compton marched slowly 45 miles per hour down pit road. A speed limit. You must maintain 45, otherwise you'll get busted for speeding. And it's a lap, Matt.
BP, Mark Martin just pulls to a stop with the 9. We told you earlier he was calling for a slight air pressure adjustment in the right rear tire. Good stop going so far as Rambo Liberati watching over things. The tick slow in the left rear. It's full of fuel. Almost rolls off the jack, and he's away, Dave.
Jamie McMurray's car very tight. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment to help that car turn better in the corners. A 4-tire stop in fuel for this team.
So McMurray away.
14.2, that's a good pit stop.
So that's going to send the cycle of things back around to Matt Kenseth, who will be the race leader. Reed Sorensen will be second after the pit stops, followed by Casey Kane, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. just past 100 miles in Atlanta. The Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Busch Series just passed 100 miles and just past a set of green flag pit stops. Our Aaron's pit summary.
And nothing changed except Kyle Busch lost a couple of spots. One came in 3rd, went out 5th. I'll tell you, had a great pit stop. Robbie Gordon, those guys continue to do a terrific pit stop. Even in, that is the 31 Singler team. The Nextel Cup team that's doing his Busch car. Sorry, Howard.
That's all right. I thought you were done, BP. There's the man that's got it all going right now. Matt Kenseth has opened up a 3.5-second lead on Casey Kane. Dave?
Shane Meal re-entering the race if he can get it to quit stalling on him. It's been sitting here a while. Change the transmission. 4th gear was the culprit, so they swapped out the entire transmission. And this is very odd. The car had fired up, and now it's just died.
Saw the crewman running away, so
They act like something's wrong with the transmission.
Imagine that. Huh. All right, so they'll keep working on it back in the garage and try and get Shane back into the race. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth setting such a pace that he is lapped now 19th place Ron Hornaday, and he's beginning to work on 18th place David Green, a green and blue car that just went through the frame. That'll be the next one to be put a lap down by the leader Kenseth. Pretty blistering pace here.
He's going fast, but Casey Kane is running faster right now. Back about 2.2 seconds behind Matt Kenseth, but he's running about a half a second faster this last couple laps.
So Mike Wallace in the 4 car, he had an unscheduled stop early in the race. Got him a lap down, and now he's gone another down.
Here's Mike. And they have succeeded in firing Shane Meal's car, and he rejoins the race. He is 40 laps down in 37th place. By the way, Jason Keller back in the race after the early crash damage repaired. He's in 39th place.
5th and 6th spot right there. Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle in the 60.
Now we check our AC Delco point summary. Not much difference from the way they started the day, which was 208 points between
positions different on the racetrack, so obviously not going to be a big gain as close as that is.
Frustrating day in Memphis last Saturday for Kyle Busch when his team made a strategy call to stay out and not take tires when some others did. They wound up fading from the lead to 14th at the finish. It cost him 64 points to Martin Truex, and he's seeing his bid for the championship growing much more difficult as the races wind down. Matt Kenseth, the race leader in the Aaron's 312 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The Aaron's 312 on TNT is brought to you by Midas Auto Service Experts. Trust the Midas touch. By Yamaha, makers of cutting-edge motorcycles and tough-as-nails ATVs. Nobody's more in tune with motorsports than Yamaha. And by Miller High Life. Live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Aaron's 312 being led by a new driver.
Casey Kane. He was flying earlier. He was about a half a second faster than Matt Kenseth, and just got up on the outside of him in 1 and 2 BP and said, see ya.
I mean, it really was a power move. The 17 goes on the bottom of the racetrack, 30 right in the middle of the corner. It's like the 17's wanted to stop or something. Unbelievably fast in the middle was the 38. Man.
It's a momentum thing.
It's a momentum thing. Matt, what are they saying down in the 38 pits? Are they jumping up and down, or they got problems?
Well, BP, the car was tight on the first run. Now, after he took the lead, Paul Andrews told him, all right, settle in, conserve your stuff. Let's try to take care of our stuff to the next stop. We did show we were down to the cords in the right front on the first set of tires. Remember, they were one of those teams that were battling a tight condition, like Greg Biffle, battling tight, also showing cords when they took those tires off in the first stop.
So you're talking about the right front tire is wearing out, Matt?
The right front on the 38, but it was the
man. Not too good. Good college football matchup tonight on TBS between a couple of ranked teams, Arizona State and the California Bears. 10 o'clock Eastern Time, TBS college football tonight.
We can probably watch that since we gain an hour tonight.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't forget, fall back tonight. Set your clocks back an hour. Yeah.
Appreciate that, BP.
Yeah, Allen already fell back earlier.
Oh, yeah, no,
Did you see him on the step?
That was about a month ago. Oh, yeah.
All right, this is the battle between the 5 of Kyle Busch, 60 Greg Biffle for 5th. And this is going on about 6 seconds behind the leader.
He's just about all the pavement there.
Big Yahoo factor for Biffle there, huh? Had the hands going. Swatting flies inside the race car. So Kyle Busch able to hold off the Greg Biffle challenge for now. And we're at 86 of 203 laps in the Aaron's 312 from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Place condominiums overlooking turn 4 of the Atlanta Motor Speedway on a beautiful afternoon just south of the Georgia metropolis. The NASCAR Busch Series approaching halfway in the Aaron's 312 with Casey Kane putting on a show right now.
Unbelievably how fast he's running. Matt, tell him to slow down.
BP, that's what Paul Andrews told him. Take it easy, save your stuff. He had a couple of close calls with the 96 car, but that's really all he is saying. He's just yarding the field, Marty, pulling out to almost a 2.5-second lead over your guy, Reed Sorensen.
And Reed Sorensen doing a very fine job. Lots of friends and family sitting here watching as Justin Labonte almost finds the turn 2 wall there. Lots of friends and family watching Reed Sorensen currently running second. Brian Patty just told him on the radio, you can win this race. Take care of your car. They're going to pit about lap 122 for their next stop. Matt Kenseth is saying which 38 would slow down. He passed him for the lead a little bit earlier. A little too free for Matt right now, especially through 3 and 4, trying for his 3rd win of the season. Matt.
Mark Martin showed a little bit of wear on the right rear tire. They made an air pressure adjustment. Hasn't said anything on the radio since his stop. His teammate Greg Biffle running in the 5th position in the 60 car. He said it just feels like I'm dragging the left front tire, and that was the tire that they showed wear down to the cords on their last stop.
chasing Greg Biffle right now, and his car is a little bit too tight. He said it's tighter in the front than it was earlier, but I know the car's better than it was on the first run. And he's found a home at the top of the racetrack. You see him running right there. Likes it a lot better up high. Matt?
And our championship point leader, Martin Truex Jr. When he pitted, he was 4th. He came out 8th. He is riding along right now in the 7th position. He was fighting a terribly loose race car, Marty. Made a wedge adjustment and went down on the air pressure on the left side tires to try to fix it.
Matty, this should mean something to Wally and BP. Robbie Gordon said he feels like a sprint car driver out there. The car extremely loose for Robbie Gordon. He's tried to shoot the middle between Tim Fido and Ron Hornaday. He's asking the crew chief which line is better. Caution on the racetrack.
Debris in turn 4. Yellow flag out for the 2nd time in this race.
And boy.
Wake up, Kevin.
Boy, are some folks glad to see this.
Yeah, Paul Menard is.
Yeah, he was.
So is Kenny Wallace, because he'll be a lucky dog.
Menard just about to be lapped by Casey Kane, the neon car just in front of the 38. So he's a lucky dog too.
Yeah. Yes. And the 36 car of Stan Barrett is a couple of laps down, so he will not. He's not the next car behind the 38. All right, pace car is out.
What a pace. 13 cars on the lead lap. These guys out front have been sprinting.
You know, we talked about earlier that the Mondo Fitz Bradshaw, they're going to merge with Ganassi next year, get some help from Ganassi and Felix Sabates. The 38 car last year, Casey Kane, he was going to drive for Ray Evernham. As soon as they started getting some information from Evernham, the 38 car started flying. Remember that?
Engineering and support.
Yes. Right.
So critical. And it's getting any more, Benny, that for a team to survive in the NASCAR Busch Series, they better be getting that help from the Cup programs.
Because their competitors are.
Resources there and the horsepower. These guys are making so much horsepower thanks to the Cup teams as well.
Here they come. Pit stops, lap 97. Marty.
Alan, this 18-year-old Reed Sorensen's doing a fantastic job running in 2nd right now. Brian Patty said no changes on the stop car, very good. A little bit of grill damage on the front so far. That has not caused a problem with the water. Water temp staying about 220, 230, and a quick stop for the Ganassi guys. Dave?
Kevin Harvick having trouble getting into the corners. Last stop, they made an air pressure adjustment that was more like his Cup car. Another air pressure adjustment like my Cup car, please, Matt.
Casey Kane in, already going to work on the left side, so the car was a little free on entry, but he could drive through it. Paul Andrews decided to go trouble on the left front with the Lux. Losing valuable time here on pit road, losing positions. How many does he lose, Alan?
3, 4 spots. 4, yeah. How about Matt Kenseth, Marty?
Running 3rd when he hit pit road. Alan Carr was loose, as we talked about, and through the field. They took a ½ pound out of the right rear tire and went down on the left rear wedge bolt, trying to tighten that car up.
I want to tell you what, the rest of the pit crews were not even in the same area code as Reed Sorensen's. He beat them all off pit road by about 2 seconds.
It wasn't all the pit crew, Alan.
Yeah, it wasn't all the pit crew. Okay. We'll come back for the restart. The drama of the NBA returns to TNT. Next Tuesday, Tracy McGrady and the Houston Rockets take on the world champion Detroit Pistons, followed by Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets against Kobe Bryant and the LA Lakers. It's opening night next Tuesday on TNT, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Still cleaning up here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Going to be another lap or so before we go back racing while they retrieve that. We'll take a break and come back for the restart. Pace cars off, time for the restart with rookie Reed Sorensen leading the way.
Green flag.
18 years old. Car in front, and he's got Mark Martin, the winningest driver ever in the NASCAR Busch Series, right behind him. Jamie McMurray on the inside. How cool is this?
Yeah, McMurray looks like he's going to get. No, I thought he was going to get his eye back, and Mark Martin down on the bottom. No. Thought about it.
Maybe I'll just not do that. Thanks.
Yeah.
McMurray trying to get back on the lead lap. First car a lap down in 15th place. And now the race going to be for 2nd spot.
Here comes Kyle Busch on the outside, and Mark hung on the bottom. Kenseth on the inside of him. About to lose 3rd.
Casey Kane went went from 1st to 6th on the pit stops where he had a problem a minute ago.
Yeah, I think we need some more blue and yellow cars. What do you think?
Oh, Biffle, here he comes on the outside of McMurray and turns up the racetrack, and Kenseth does in front of Biffle.
Casey Kane at 38.
Now for the race lead. Here comes Kyle Busch. After him, and Matt Kenseth chasing the both of them down.
At least he's got somebody his own age trying to chase him down.
And Kyle, 19.
Oh, that was close.
What this must be like for him at his home track in Atlanta, out in front of Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth and Greg Biffle.
That's got to be so.
He's having fun.
Oh yeah,
having fun.
Is he nervous? Are his hands tight on the wheel? Is he tense?
I'm sure his hands are probably pretty tight on the wheel.
Meanwhile, Kenseth trying to take over that second spot. Marty, what's he said on the radio? Anything?
Not much. His hands are tied on the wheel. You guys are right. I think he was nervous before he climbed in the car because he knows he got a lot of friends and family here watching him today. When he came here to test, Casey Mears took him out in a rental car, spent about 30 minutes with him on the racetrack, kind of showing him the secret to this place. Casey ran very well here in March. On his pit box, as soon as he fell out of the race, Casey Mears hanging out, supporting Reed Sorensen. And Brian Patty told me something neat. He said he has the speed of Casey Mears, but the smarts of Jamie McMurray. He is a unique talent and will be in this series and in the next series, the next Shell Cup series, for a long time to come.
Man, he puts that left side tires right on the white line.
Jamie McMurray on pit road, unscheduled stop. Dave?
Well, last run, guys, they were so loose. Jamie described it as wrecking loose. They made an adjustment, wedge and air, and now they've got something really wrong. It looks like maybe in the drivetrain, or they're just checking the suspension underneath, the truck arms, everything, to see if there's anything really wrong with this race car. It's loose again.
In other words, it's so bad that he says something has to be broken. There's no way we could start a race this loose unless something were to break.
So he hopes something's broken. They hope they find something. He doesn't want to go back out there if it's that loose.
Yeah.
And they don't find anything.
McMurray driving for Rusty Wallace Incorporated.
But if they don't find anything, you've got to go back out there.
Tough it out.
Yeah, try another lap or two anyway.
Yeah, at least a couple laps. Or maybe one corner here.
Got some more on McMurray for us, Dave?
Yeah, just that BP was exactly right. They checked all 4 shocks to make sure that they were all attached in the way they were supposed to be. The guys radio back, we can't find anything. They're making chassis adjustments now with the wrench just to try to make this car tighten up a little bit before he heads back on the track.
Like you talked about earlier, Wally, terrifying here at Atlanta sometimes.
Yeah, if your car's not right, it's a tough racetrack. Really want to have it comfortable here because it's so hard to drive around this place. You're going so fast, and when you start sliding, you slide in a hurry.
And it has consequences.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this has turned out to be a pretty interesting race right now. After a caution flag, getting these cars some fresh tires, making their adjustments.
Sorensen the leader, Kyle Busch second, Matt Kenseth third, Greg Biffle fourth.
All right, Dave, what did they find?
Well, you ever drive a race car where the spring bounces out of the spring bucket?
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Right front.
Normally when a driver comes in, if the car's that loose and he says there's something wrong or something broke, usually something's wrong and something's broke. So good for those guys. They kept looking and they found something, which gives the driver a lot more confidence now that he's pulling out back on the racetrack.
NASCAR coverage coming on Speed Channel later today from here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, including their roundtable program Pit Bulls. Beat writers that cover racing regularly talk about the issues of the sport. And then the IROC race that runs later this afternoon in Atlanta. See it tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Speed Channel.
I'll tell you what, this 5-car, Kyle Busch, is impressing me right now because he is trying everything he can. He's using every inch of this racetrack to try to find some speed to keep up with this 41 car.
But he just got passed.
He just got passed.
So you're saying it didn't work out?
It didn't work too good, but at least he's trying so hard.
18-year-old Reed Sorensen leading the NASCAR Busch Series race in Atlanta.
Based on Stephen King's best-selling novel.
I can hear my heart.
Can you hear it too? Rob Donald Sutherland, Salem's Lot. Tonight at 8 on TNT.
It's been a good week for Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a movie on TNT tonight. His Boston Red Sox won the World Series on Wednesday.
Yeah, folks, he's just saying that because Alan Husky is a huge Boston Red Sox fan.
New England. It's a good week.
It was a real good week.
It's been a good week for Reed Sorensen, but his happy times at the front of this Aaron's 312 may be over shortly.
He's got Matt Kenseth knocking on the door. This about what happened last time with Matt. He ran 25, 30 laps, showing his tires, and seemed like he passed everybody.
Stay focused, okay? 32 flags.
The only thing that leader's got to worry about, he's got that open grill right now, and he doesn't need anything going through there and putting a hole in the radiator.
That's right. Marty Snyder reported to us that on the pit stop, they tried to pull a piece of tape or something off the front of the car where he made contact with another car, and they pulled the grill opening. So there's nothing to keep debris from going in against the radiator, is there, Marty?
That's exactly right, BP. They actually were doing it with a wire brush. They were just trying to clean it, and they accidentally pulled the bottom left grill off. Is that a big problem, you think, or something to be worried about?
Yeah, if somebody gets in front of him and kicks a rock up, yeah, can go right through.
And that a little bit of concern on Brian Patty's part. He's also trying to keep Reed focused ahead of him. He said, you know, drive out of your windshield, not out of your mirror. He thinks he's looking too much in his rearview mirror. And Brian is coaching him. That was the radio you just heard a second ago. Every lap, he's like a football coach, like he sends in a play. Calm down, concentrate, keep your marks. Don't worry about the guys behind you. Worry about what's in front of you. Remember, he's only 18 years old. 5 months ago, he was worried about graduating for high school. Now he's trying to keep the lead in the race at Atlanta.
But you see, Marty, that's the whole point. He is 18 years old, and that's Matt Kenseth, last year's Nextel Cup champion behind him. He's got to look in the mirror.
He doesn't care.
No. You guys remember the first time you get out in a race with some of your racing idols, people you look up to, read about that kind of thing, what it was like the first time? Not just you were out on the track with him, but you competed with him.
I was just crushed at Richard Petty turning me around coming off turn, going in turn 3.
Where?
He did turn me around, actually just kind of bumped me up, got me out of the groove.
Said you were in the way, kid?
Yeah.
BP said that to me a lot. This is my first race I ran here. You were my spotter. And I heard a lot of, don't run there.
Casey Kane trying to track down Greg Biffle for 4th place. The both of them trying to do something with Kyle Busch in the 5 for 3rd. And for the lead.
And Kenseth leads that lap, and is he going to maintain it? Looks like he is.
Man, that car is awfully good on older tires. Man, that's when you want your car good here.
Had to go low to make the pass for the lead, then swing up high in the first corner to get around the lap traffic. And still probably run a pretty good lap time. So Matt Kenseth looking for his 3rd NASCAR Busch Series win of the season. He has never won here in Atlanta, but he's got a pair of runner-up finishes to his credit. Sorensen back to 2nd, Marty.
And he's been screaming loose for the last few laps, and then finally Brian Patty said enough. Let the 17 pass you. Now he's back to 3rd, and see if he can learn something from those guys when they do go past you.
That's interesting there. Biffle goes by Gus Washington 10 as Casey Kane tries to get by Biffle.
All right, I'm a little better than you down low.
Yeah, he is. 38 car Casey Kane's been running down there quite a bit last 15, 20 laps and making up some ground.
Hey, Matt, how was the tires on the 38 car? Are they okay?
Look good, BP. Down in 1 and 2, he takes the high side. Down in 3 and 4, he works better down low. Remember back to that lap 97 pit stop. Trouble on the left front. Deluxe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he came on the radio about 15 laps ago and said, are you guys sure you got all the lugs tight? All Andrews said, absolutely. Paul said, I'm assuming you're saying you got a vibration. Casey says yes. He is quick. He is moving back up the front, but he's also working with a vibration.
Well, that's not good.
That is definitely not good. You're so concerned when you have these great pit stops that did they get all the lug nuts tight, because these drivers, if they aren't, they can feel that wheel You can feel the vibration as that wheel wobbles down the straightaway.
Yeah, and you know what it is. You know the wheel's coming loose.
And when it's wobbling, that's just going to lead to bigger problems.
Yes.
Round out the holes on the wheel, and eventually something breaks, and
probably the center will come out.
And it can cause a wreck. Matt Kenseth leading as we are just about to hit the 200-mile mark in Atlanta.
I will be the first to set foot on the field, and I will be the last to step off.
See Mel Gibson 3 nights in a row in the network television premiere of We Were Soldiers, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, starting Friday night at 9 on TNT.
Matt Kenseth, the race leader in the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Busch Series at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, just to pass the 200-mile mark of this race. Kenseth, one of 8 different drivers that have traded the lead 13 times so far.
Wow, who's that?
Harvick must have just made a pit stop or something in the 29 car.
He's obviously on new tires. There he goes. What's happening with the 29, Dave?
Yeah, they pitted on lap 128. The car was so tight for Kevin, he thought he had a flat tire. They came in, they made a track bar adjustment, changed all 4 tires. The air was up on all 4. Let's hope the track bar adjustment helps, Marty.
Dave, right now Matt Kenseth a little loose, and he had a great compliment for young Reed Sorensen as he was following him. He said, the only person I've ever been able to see to hold a car that loose down on the bottom of the racetrack for more than 10 laps is Mark Martin. That kid can drive.
Wow, that is impressive. As we see all this, though, the 38 car, Casey Kane looked like he was going towards the front. It moved up to about the 4th position, and all of a sudden, he started to fall back. Somewhere back there goes Biffle. We see about to lose a spot to Robbie Gordon. What's going on with the 38 guys?
BP, we are about 25, 26 laps away from their next stop. Paul asked him, is it getting worse? He said, yes, whatever it is definitely getting worse. He is slowly fading. He's back to 7th now. One of the best cars today. They're trying to hold on, hoping for a caution so he can hit pit road so they don't have to hit pit road early and lose a lot more.
He's back to 9th now as both Gordon and Strimmy were able to get by him.
I know you've both been there before, but that just has got to be the most uncomfortable feeling in a race car.
And we're talking about Atlanta. We're talking about speeds 185, 190 miles per hour. And if something, the wheel breaks or whatever.
Big break for Casey. Debris on the track. Caution flag is out.
Hallelujah.
They've been talking about something on the front straightaway for the last couple laps.
I was going to say that wall was hard.
I was going to say, you don't think about hitting a wall here at Atlanta until you have a wheel coming off. Then you start thinking about it every lap.
And the pace car out to pick up the leader, Matt Kenseth. And Casey Kane is exhaling deeply.
Yes.
Whew.
Big break for those guys.
Getting right back into contention to win the way that car's been driving.
If the wheel hasn't done enough damage to the studs, if that is the problem, that may not be the vibration that he's talking about, but.
Well, I bet you Matt will tell us. Better.
Not sure what that is, but it was enough to bring the caution out and enough to bring a smile to Casey Kane's face. And so it'll bring about pit stops at lap 137.
And Matt, when they make this pit stop, run out there and check out those studs on the 38 car. Make sure they're okay, will you?
BP, Paul Andrews said, whatever you guys do, make sure when you hit those lugs that they are all tight. They asked Casey, what do we need to do to your car? He says, I really don't know. I was more concerned with keeping it up high, down in 3 and 4, knowing he's going so fast. So if something happened, he was actually closer to the wall. But they're going to make a track bar adjustment, try to free him up just a little bit more.
I'll tell you something else that this yellow brings about, besides bringing Casey Kane back into play for the win. Check out how many laps there are to go.
Yeah.
They kept pit road closed this time, but when they come around and stop, it'll be 65 laps to go.
That's going to be close.
Oh, man.
You know, somebody's going to do it.
Somebody can make it, but there's probably some cars that can't.
What's gotten us to this point in the Aaron's 312? Well, a big mess racing for 4th place.
That was just on the 2nd lap when McLaughlin in 25 makes contact with Bliss in 20, Casey Mears in 1, and a hard lick for Johnny Stoddard. He got tagged behind. and add the insult to injury, he's also involved with the 25 car.
Fortunately, everybody okay.
Shane Meal running great, running up front at the time. Second, I think I believe it was, and had a transmission go.
Pit stops, lap 62, close call there for Reed Sorensen, having a top 5 run. Punched out the grill on his Ganassi Dodge, but he has continued with no further problems.
And never see him leaving pit road. And where is the second place car? Finally, Mark Martin goes by.
The Sorensen goes out in front with the defending Nextel Cup champion, Matt Kenseth, all over his back bumper. Does a nice job to hold him off for a while.
But then Kenseth finally did take the lead.
And Matt leading as the caution flag came out for the 3rd time in the race. 2 of them for debris, the other for the big crash we showed you in the opening laps. 13 cars on the lead lap, plus Clint Boyer, who'll get the lucky dog. Marty?
And if we do go green to the end, this should play into Matt Kenseth's hand. The car very good at the end of a run, just a little bit loose. He wants 5/8 of a turn of wedge into the car, a little bit over a half a turn, just a little bit too loose for the 17. Kyle Busch, middle of your screen, second place man in the championship, tied in 3 and 4. He needs more forward fight, so they're taking half a pound out of both rear tires. Matt?
And Casey Kane needed a caution, and he got the caution. Looking at the left front, looks like all the lugs are on as they go to work on the right side. He said he thought the car might have been a little bit tight, so they're going to try to free him up. As the left side tires going on, the 60's down and away, and he is hard on exit.
Now, I want to see the camera at the scoring line pit exit.
I think the 41 got him.
Pretty close.
I think he gassed it right at the end.
Reed Sorensen, Kyle Busch,
Truex got in there. Then Matt Kenseth, then Robbie Gordon. Another great pit stop from those guys.
Again. So the young one is back out in front of the Aaron's 312 with 65 laps to go. Set to go racing here at Atlanta, half a lap for the restart. Reed Sorensen is the new leader, and our Zale's brilliant moment of the race. How about a nod of the nay in the direction of his pit crew?
I'll go for that. Beats Kyle Busch off pit road. Also Truex in 3rd. Kenseth, man,
shining brightly, sparkling, you might say.
I wonder why Zales would be. Oh, it's Christmas coming up. That's why they have the brilliant move of the race.
BP, your wife Terry would say anytime's a good time for jewelry.
There you go. Now, Kevin Harvick on the inside of Sorensen is a lap down, and there's nothing he'd like better to do than...
I was going to say, not for long, I don't think.
You don't think so?
Let's see.
Restart with 63 laps to go. Make it 62. Hearing from pit road that most of these guys should be good to the finish on fuel.
Oh, who is that? Gliding up there. I don't know who it was.
Is that Mike Walsh before the red?
It was. He went sliding.
Well, Harvick couldn't get it done, but here comes Busch on the outside. Off turn 4. Yo, baby!
I'm out there.
New leader, Kyle Busch. I believe the one that was doing all the sliding was Jamie McMurray in the 66.
Okay.
He is being admonished by NASCAR for creating a problem in the pack.
Truex goes by the 8 car. Sorensen moves him back to 3rd.
So apparently that looseness is not completely fixed on his car.
He had his hands
looks
full, I'm
of it.
sure. Wow, look at this. This guy's trading some paint in this crowd at 180 plus miles an hour. Harvick sliding back through the center of that crowd, it looks like.
Casey Kane, the 38 car, trying his best to get through this crowd of cars. Also Mark Martin in the 9.
Whoa, look at Casey up on the high side.
Mark kind of pinned in behind Robert Presley's car.
Jimmy gets by. Looks like Biffle might get by. He does. And Mark finally gets back in line in about the 9th position.
I just think of the problem for some of these guys right now. In that jam up they had in traffic when McMurray went for the slide back through, some of the first few cars got away. And if that was the last pit stop and the last set of tires you've gotten, now you got some ground to make up.
with Rambo Liberati. What is going on with you and these tires, Rambo? You've been running up and down pit road.
Well, we don't got a tire shortage, but we don't have enough tires to finish the race. If we get a caution early, we're going to run out of tires. We don't got no tires on the wall. We only get a certain amount of sets. Goodyear brought us them. Usually we get extra, or we can buy some early, but they didn't have enough for us to do that, so we got to go around and try to get some. Right now, I got some coming from the 60. They're 2-lap scuffs, and he's got one set of 2-lap scuffs, and I got another set. So I think we're going to be okay. I mean, we're running pretty good. We're running about 8th or 9th. On a long run, we're real good. That Compton transmission car's running good, and hopefully, if everything goes all right, we can keep going because we'll be good on that long run. But if we can't, we got us a set of tires now.
They are in good shape now. Mark Martin was not a happy camper when he found out that their next best set of tires was 19-lap scuffs, guys.
Yeah, I was told this morning that
19 laps. I don't think there's scuffs after 19 laps.
They're about worn out. Yeah. I was told this morning that some concern about these teams not being able to get their hands on possibly enough tires. Today we've been lucky that we've had some long green flag runs, because if it had a caution flag every 30 or 40 laps like if they do tomorrow in the Nextel Cup, they'll change tires every time. Today they can only do it 3 times on the caution flag. But
Truex a little loose there down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Bobble for the 8 car. Reed Sorensen in the 41 trying to do something with the championship leader. And here's Matt Kenseth again, kind of lurking in the shadows.
Exactly.
And Reed Sorensen goes to 2nd spot. Marty, this 41 kid is really impressive.
He's doing a great job, BP, and the pit crew's doing a great job too. The last 2 stops, 14.1 and 14.9. It's a little too loose to start the beginning of the run. They put a 1/4 pound in the right front. Ryan Patty said, I don't know if he'll notice the difference. I just feel a lot better doing it. Matt?
Marty, back on lap 97, Martin Truex said the car is just bad loose. I can barely hang on to it. Bono Mannion made a lot of adjustments between air pressure, put a spring rubber in the left rear, wedge, track bar, you name it, a number of adjustments, and that car has really come to life. They were talking about making a slight air pressure adjustment on that last stop, but he's got a battle for the lead.
Sorensen's working on it on that low side. His car just hooks along the bottom, especially right here in 1 and 2. He gets below that white line.
If you're wondering about the future of NASCAR, you're looking at it. 18 years old and 19 years old racing for the lead in Atlanta.
Now, the 5 car's trying to get him off the bottom. And he did, but can he do anything with him? Answer is nope.
So Reed Sorensen out in front. That's Brian Patty.
Stay focused, dude.
Meantime, Kenseth's just sitting there letting them come back to him because his car is so good after 15-20 laps on tires.
And for 2nd place, I thought he had a run on him there.
I did too.
Being patient.
Matt Kenseth, patient?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Can you believe that?
I think so. Not quite, but nose to nose for 2nd place. Wow, Kyle really had to drive that 5 car up the top of the hill.
And finally, the 17 car slides up into that 2nd spot.
So now the defending Nextel Cup champion chasing the 18-year-old rookie here in Atlanta. The Aaron's 312 on TNT is brought to you by Trim Spa X32, your dream body diet pill. Trim Spa BNB. By Aaron's. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. And by Just for Men, more than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Ends gray in 5 minutes. Looks natural. Reed Sorensen, the 18-year-old from Forest Park, Georgia, still leading the Aaron's 312 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway as we approach the 250-mile mark in search of what would be his first NASCAR Busch Series win.
Well, he likes that bottom, doesn't he?
Oh, he loves it.
I mean, some of these guys run the bottom on, you know, maybe half the racetrack.
That's what I was talking about a little bit ago when Kyle Busch, when he passed Busch and he got underneath him and moved him up off the bottom. Kyle was just trying to see how fast he could run off, and it was pretty fast.
Now our Just for Men here call a rejuvenating moment of the race. Want to tip the cap in the direction of the Fitz-Bradshaw team. New driver this week, new engineering program for 2005, which has already begun helping them here this weekend. David Stremme with a fine 6th place run for that team. Very nice.
Congratulations, Davey.
So rejuvenation for the Fitz-Bradshaw team. Reed Sorensen trying to become the youngest driver ever to win a NASCAR Busch Series race. Marty, he's out front. Let's go through the field.
He's doing an excellent job hugging that bottom line of the racetrack. The car pretty good now. They did the quarter-pound air pressure adjustment because it came in too slow on the last run. Came in real quickly on this one. Reed currently in the lead. Brian Patty coaching him every lap. The man behind him, though, is coming. Matt Kenseth getting better every lap. And it's almost like Darlington out here. Matt's talking about saving his tires so he can make a run at the end of this run trying to win the race. Kyle Busch said they are good on fuel now. They did ask him to save under the last caution. He's a little bit tight in 3 and 4. They made a very small air pressure adjustment on the last stop trying to get him some more forward bite. Matty.
And here comes Casey Kane. They had that left front wheel vibration. That was the only thing wrong with the car. He's turning the fastest laps of anybody on the racetrack. He is up to 4th, saying really not much about the race car. The guy behind, number 8, Martin Truex Jr. in 5th. They made an air pressure adjustment. The car was just not as tight at the end of the run as it needed to be. And David Stremme, debut in the 14 car. What a great run. 4 tires and scuffs and an air pressure adjustment in the right front of the last stop. He says the car is just a little tight down in 3 and 4. They can make it on fuel. And Mark Martin has the tires he needs. If he needs them, he's 6.5 seconds back in the 8th position. And his teammate, Greg Biffle in the 60 car, his car is just going back and forth. Tight, loose. They pulled a spring rubber in the left rear in the last stop, and Brad Parrott made a significant air pressure adjustment on the right side tires on his last stop. And then Mark Martin, who ran the ASA race last night, running Busch today and Nextel Cup tomorrow, running in the 8th position in the 9 car. Marty?
Good job, Matt. That was a lot of cars to cover. Robbie Gordon, or actually, yeah, Robbie Gordon is sliding all over the place, he says, and it became official on Tuesday. He will run his own Cup team next year in addition to this car. So he'll run the Busch and Cup Series out of his own garage next year. Pretty impressive for Robbie Gordon and his bunch. Kenny Wallace had an outstanding second half of this race. They were very loose early in the race. They made no adjustments on the last top. Car's been pretty good for Kenny the last few laps. He finished 9th with this car just a few weeks ago at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Matty?
Tony Gibson working on the 11th car for Paul Menard. They're running in the 11th position. He was running the high groove earlier. Then the car was free. They've made some adjustments here and there. The last stop, he was tight at the start. They made an air pressure adjustment to try to free him up a little more. And the 18, J.J. Yaley, another young driver, trying to just log some laps, get some experience. Still really, really loose. They're talking about 4 rounds of wedge when they pit the next time. Dave, join the fun.
Still here, Matt, believe it or not. The 21 of Clinton Boyer made a pit stop on 96. Track bar adjustment helped that car from a little tight to very good. They became the lucky dog on lap 136 caution, got back on the lead lap, made no changes on the car at that time. It's running pretty good. Tony Stewart's had a tight race car. It is still tight, even after a wedge adjustment on the last stop. Also, the vent tube was pushed into the trunk, but it didn't really matter when they got it fixed because they were already the last car in the lead lap. He rolls along. Alan, boy, am I worn out. Back to you.
I think somebody's going to have to sit Matt down and give him a little oxygen there for a minute. And way to go, Matty. Reed Sorensen out in front, 37 laps to go. Will he get his first Busch Series win, or will Matt Kenseth's experience win out? NASCAR on TNT with the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Busch Series, the Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hampton, Georgia. A beautiful Saturday afternoon. Beautiful day for the new race leader, Casey Kane. Those 2 drivers were racing for the lead a second ago, but they have been bypassed by driver 38.
And Kenseth, the 17, was able to get by Sorensen in the 41, but it's 38, Casey Kane, that they're all chasing now.
he is just slowly driving away from him.
Still got 31 to go.
But he didn't catch him slowly.
Yeah, quickly.
He caught him and passed him in a big hurry.
Let's just see if Matt's been taking care of his stuff.
Kenseth 7/10 of a second behind Casey Kane. We check back on a race for 6th place. David Stremme in the 14, trying to hold off Greg Biffle in the 60. Greg Biffle nearing the end of a very busy season. He has been running the entire NASCAR Busch Series schedule and the entire NASCAR Nextel Cup Series schedule. During the summer months, that often put him at different racetracks on the same race weekend, sometimes thousands of miles apart. We talked with Greg about that, asked him to reflect on the double duty this year, and he said, well, it's interesting that you brought that up.
I got a big decision to make right now. They want to do it again next year, and man, that's a big task, and I'd love to do it. I'm a racer at heart, so anytime I can get behind the wheel, but it takes a little bit away from my Nextel Cup program. You know, we need to make the chase for the Nextel Cup next year, and that's not the reason why we didn't make it this year, but we feel we're going to be in it for sure next year, and you know, I want to focus on that, and you know, if that means spending a little more time with the Nextel Cup car, that's what I want to do.
That's great. I mean, he's looking at what his priority is, and his priority being the Nextel Cup deal, and he thinks it is taken away a little bit.
And the worst situation is like Pikes Peak, you know. Yeah. The Nextel Cup cars are in Pocono, and the Busch cars are in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I mean, that's a long ways. Sure, you've got jets, but still.
Greg went on to say later in that same conversation that ideally he would find a sponsor to run about 15 of the companion Busch Series races at the same track on the same weekend of the Nextel Cup Series. But right now, the sponsorship opportunities presented to he and Roush Racing are to run them all or run none. Tough choice. So that's Biffle now running in 6th place, having completed the pass on David Stremme. Greg Biffle, the early leader of this race, was out in front from laps 20 to about lap 45 and has not been at the point since. .6 laps to go. There's your leader, Casey Kane. 1.9 seconds ahead of Matt Kenseth now. He's put a little gap on him. We look for the 2nd place car.
That last lap was fast. Casey Kane turned a half a second faster than Matt Kenseth.
And beyond Kenseth to the 3rd place driver, Reed Sorensen. Marty, quite a day for the youngster.
Just a terrific day, and you always want your children to do well, and that is certainly the case for Brad Feast. He's very proud of his son, Blake. They have about 40 friends and family from here at the racetrack today. They are from Peachtree City, Georgia, about 15 minutes from here. He started them out in racing at 5 years old in quarter midgets, and can you believe it? Just a few years ago, Blake was right here at this track racing Legends cars. It was always his dream just to race in a big car here no matter what, and now he's very happy to be here.
Marty, hang on a second here.
Place.
You got me confused, Marty. We talking about Blake Feast or Reed Sorensen?
Reed Sorensen, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Reed Sorensen.
Okay,
my fault. My fault. I'm looking at my notes, the wrong guy, so my apologies. But that is Brad Sorensen, and he's very proud of his son. Just a couple of years ago, they were racing Legends cars right here, and he just wanted to race a big track here, wanted to race a big car at this racetrack, and he's running 3rd right now, late in the race. Good job for this guy today.
Matt, if you're close to Marty, please go down and smack him.
Please, will you, Matt? You'll sit in Wally anyway.
I can't help you out, Wally.
So,
I'm all the way at the other end. I'm
going to send Walter Cox down to the mayor's booth to slap him around.
That's completely my fault. I wrote down Brad Feast. I'm sorry.
Close Marty's mic. Close Marty's mic.
Please. Either way, very, very impressive job today by this youngster. I mean,
not talking about Marty.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Reed. Chip Ganassi signed him up. I mean, obviously he saw something.
And he signed him up. He didn't sign him up just a couple of weeks ago. It was last year when the kid was 16, 17 years old that he signed him up.
Tell me what, he is hooking that apron. I don't know how he's gotten away with it all day long.
And he's starting to lose the back as he comes off the corners, getting.
Hey, your mark, dude.
Dave, have you got something to add to Blake Sorensen?
Reed Sorensen.
Oh, okay. That's right.
And I had the privilege of covering him here in the Legends car on the little track and also in the ASA series. The other thing that Reed's learned already, respect for people and conducting himself like a gentleman in this sport.
That goes a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah, first time I met him, I was very impressed with the conversation. Very sharp young man, and I expect to see him around for a long time to come. Reed 4.5 seconds behind Casey Kane, the race leader, 21 laps to go. Casey Kane yet to score a NASCAR Busch Series victory this season, though he's come close a couple of times. Some drama in the late laps in Atlanta. The championship leader is in trouble. As he slows, he sheds some debris and brings out the caution flag.
He's got left rear flat tire right now, and
he keeps going.
Come apart, yeah.
And he keeps going, did not stop and change it. And you're right, we just hope it doesn't come apart and tear up the rest of the car.
Martin Truex Jr. running 6th in the race at the time, came on the team's radio in the middle of turns 3 and 4, said, I've got a flat.
Now, some contact here possibly with the 14 car of Davis Tremme.
Wow. Yep. Oh, I guess.
That will cut a tire.
And once again, they get together.
Second one was out of frustration. I think the first one, Tremme just slid up. He lost it. Car got loose. He lost it. He went up into Truex, and then this one was just out of frustration here.
On board to Mark Martin as he watches that. And he sees the 8 car, the tire going flat.
So that happened. Truex obviously in turn 3 by the time he began to realize he had the problem, was by the pit road opening.
Stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out.
Wow. Man, I'll tell you what, I hope that tire does not come apart.
I wonder why you do that. He's staying out because pit road is closed, but there's only 13 cars on the lead lap. If he tears the car up,
yeah.
Matt, what are they thinking?
Bono thinks he is the lucky dog, and he's double checking with NASCAR, and he didn't want to pit if he was indeed the lucky dog. Right now he's talking with a NASCAR official. You can see the left rear is flat. He's consulting.
But isn't it, if you're the cause of it, if you're the cause of the yellow, you don't get the lucky dog, right?
That's my understanding, but there's the tire starting to come apart.
If you are the reason for the yellow and you become the car first lap down, 1 lap down, you don't become the lucky dog.
Right, but he's not the first car 1 lap down anyway.
Well, he was until just that last deal.
Marty. Tires so critical, Alan, you almost have to stop here in the middle of your screen. Matt Kenseth said, do not clean the grill. 4 tires, no chassis changes. Bottom of your screen, Kyle Busch, who now gets a big break in terms of the championship. A little bit loose, ½ pound on the right rear tire, Matt.
And the 38, Casey Kane is in. No chassis adjustments. Coming around to the left side, told us guys, we need a good, solid stop. No mistakes. We need a mistake-free performance. And good stop out of 38. He's away.
And looks like he's
not going to get it. Kenseth beat him.
Man, that was close.
And remember that Mark Martin's team was scrambling around to find a set of tires in case the caution came out late. They're glad they did.
And Kenseth does beat the 38 car of Kane out by a ½ car length.
All right, we'll figure out what's going on with Martin Truex and where he's going to be in the rundown in a moment. Under caution here in Atlanta in the closing laps. The Aaron's 312 on TNT is brought to you by Energizer. Keep going. By new Prestone, all makes, all models, extended life antifreeze coolant. Trust Prestone for your own protection. And by Zales, the Diamond Store. There is one lucky dog at this racetrack, and his name is Martin Truex Jr.
Well, he did get the Lucky Dog award. He is back on the lead lap with the rest of these cars. But I think the luckiest thing of all was the left rear tire didn't tear apart and knock the left rear quarter off the car. There we see him going around. And
let me take you back through this and just set how things got this way. Truex on the lead lap has the tire going down. Before he gets to pit road, he loses a lap to the race leader. That puts him the first car a lap down. The caution comes out for debris dropped on the racetrack. And so because he wasn't the cause of the caution, he didn't spin out or something to bring out the yellow, and you can't necessarily confirm the debris came from his car, NASCAR says he gets the lucky dog pass that puts him back on the lead lap. And Matt, his crew chief, ought to be pretty darn happy about that.
And Bono, you pulled out the lucky sunglasses at the last minute. I bet you're glad now.
Yeah, the lucky dog was lucky today for us, you know, just a few laps to go. Worst we can finish here is 14th. The best is a win. You know, it's going to be hard to do You guys are going to start at the tail end of the longest line, but lucky that we got the caution. We got tangled up with a car there and got a flat, so we'll see what happens.
And quickly, Martin's lucky sunglasses.
Well, they're just they weren't real lucky at Kansas, and I guess they'll be all right today.
These are the days that you save those championship points. Marty?
Now Matt focusing on the front. Matt Kenseth has a lead. Cully, is the car good enough that he can keep it up there?
It was good on a short run last time and it got a little loose. I think everybody's loose today. Track's just loose. I think he'll be all right. 38 strong, but it's Matt. I'm betting on him.
He's going to bet on his man, Matt Kenseth, and that's what he said, that the car was better actually at the beginning of the run that time, and that has not been the case all day for Matt.
No, it hasn't. I mean, normally his car's been really good after about, 20, 25 laps or even more on his tires. And Casey Kane's been a little bit better on fresher tires, so.
He's not going to have that chance this time because we've only going to have, let's see, 90 to about 11 laps to go when they throw the green flag. Unless there is a green-white checker to hit this thing.
Another caution flag, you're saying?
Caution flags, they will breed caution flags. Because let's face it, you get all these cars wadded up in one big knot and they're trying to look at them. They can't even figure out that's slow where they're running. They're on the apron, they're everywhere.
They're trying to figure out what order they're supposed to restart in. There's a couple guys who try to get a little farther ahead in line. Will you let me pass, that kind of thing? And they did it past the point in turn 3 where you're allowed to jump up and do that, and they're being told to get back where they belong.
Whoa! Stacey Compton, 59 car, spun the tires.
11 laps to go.
Battle for second spot.
This could get ugly.
We see the 5 car of the Kyle Busch trying to take over that second spot.
Yeah, before Casey Kane can do anything with Matt Kenseth, he better hang on to second place first. Paul Menard being black flagged, passing to the left on the restart, and we check with Marty.
Kyle Busch trying to take the second position now, and his crew chief Lance McGrew said, hey, the 8's had problems today. This could be a big picture day. We could gain a lot of points. Kyle said, I'm not worried about that. I want to win this race. That's all I care about right now.
Well, he's trying. He's trying his best.
Remember the 5 car, one of the Hendrick Motorsports cars.
Yeah. Meantime, though, Kenseth is getting a little bit out there. He's not exactly driving.
Oh, trouble, turn 3.
Oh, Menard.
Paul Menard
Randy
and others.
Fedua.
Where is the 8 car? Did he get through?
Is that him coming off? Is that him?
I'm looking for the championship leader.
He spun.
72.
Got into it.
He started over at 3.
He got a piece
still
of it.
rolling, but.
Talk to me. Joey, tell me damage. I see the left side. All your tires look up.
It's Bono Mannion, the crew chief, asking for a spotter.
Somebody just bleed me out.
I'm gonna predict what happened here. Menard was slowing down to get to the black flag, and the pack behind him didn't see it.
There you see the 11 car down on the bottom. No, actually, yeah. He just got loose there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I thought would have happened too, but he did it in front of a lot of cars.
You see Randy LaJoy, I guess, gets tagged from behind, turned around right in front of the 12 of Fedua.
All right, but where's
he
the
got
8?
loose getting into the corner.
Where's the 8 in that mess? How do you get
back?
picked up?
He's a little bit further back. I think he got run into or something by the looks of it, because he wound up over on the apron.
Right there he goes. No, that's not him.
Not him. He's still to the right.
Yeah. The 12 car comes down, and I think Menard thought he was going to come on down, and he kind of stood on the brakes to avoid hitting the 21 car and spun himself out. Jumped off the gas, hit the brakes, and that'll spin you out almost every time.
LaJoy and Fedua. Big hit there. Boston Reed slides through the middle in the 87.
And there was Blake Feast in 00.
Marty's guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just trying to avoid hitting the 21 car and spun himself out. All right, where's the 8? Hornaday goes through.
I think 8's still to the right. I think he's down there.
Yep.
Okay, He's on the apron, and he got bopped in the back.
By 72, Kevin LePage, I believe.
Michael Waltrip's view. He's seen a couple of these today from this angle.
He's on the bottom. He's still on the bottom. Nice shot, buddy. Had a way to get through there. Got a yellow. Big rig.
Go ahead, Matt.
Bono just told his guys, make sure everybody has on a fire suit and a helmet when they go over the wall so they don't get a penalty. Haskell Lavalette has a hammer. Sammy's got a baseball bat and a hammer. And Slugger Labby has helped them make a piece of aluminum to go over the fender. They also have some big pieces of tape to see if they can fix the cosmetic damage in this car. They are out of tires, so they cannot change tires.
So he may have flat spots on those tires, Matt,
well,
just because he spun them.
He doesn't think he flat spotted them. Even though he spun around, he does not think he flat spotted them. Joey Meyer, his spotter, also telling Bono about the damage as the 8 car comes to a stop. Now they're going to take their time, go around. As you can see them trying to work on that right rear corner panel and making some cosmetic improvements to that left front corner.
That just goes to show you how important the front of these cars are, because the first thing they did was dive and just fix the front air dam or front air valence.
Now, when the field gets here, they're going to get the 1 to go signal, Benny and Wally, so there's going to be a 5-lap race to the finish if we don't get any overtime.
Going to put another piece of tape, Alan, on that left front corner. Now, Slugger Labby, who is leaning on the wall, a new position for Slugger, kind of helping out with the Busch program and the 1 Cup car, helping Bono. And he's away as they've made some cosmetic improvements to this car. What a day for this team. They are, what are they, 14th?
Yeah, 13th, Matt, but still on the lead lap.
Yeah, the only good thing, well, the good thing about it now in the restart will be a single file restart, which avoids a lot of these problems when you've got restarts towards the end of the races.
So late dramatics here for the championship leader, but if he gets through this with if he even picks off a couple cars and squeezes a 10th place finish out of this, wow.
Be fortunate.
Yeah, because if that would have happened earlier, he would have had his hands full with that race car.
And speaking of championships, tomorrow the race for the Nextel Cup Series championship continues here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing presented on NBC by the Home Depot starting at noon Eastern time. Our Discover Card Countdown to Green, a special edition paying tribute to those victims lost in the tragedy of last Sunday up near Martinsville, Virginia. We hope that you'll be with us for that. And then we'll turn our attention to racing and Kurt Busch's hopes of holding off Jeff Gordon for the championship through 500 miles here at the very fast Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And Slugger Labby, Matt just talked about him. His job now is in charge of testing at DEI. He's also in charge of wrecks. The crash cart that Dave Burns showed you a couple of weeks ago, he's in charge of that to make sure that everything is there to fix these cars. The 8 in the Busch Series, the 8 in the Nextel Cup Series. If they have a problem, he's supposed to have everything there to fix it.
5 laps to go. Kyle Busch now second behind Matt Kenseth. Driving for Hendrick Motorsports, very determined to try and get up and win this race. Can he steal it away from Matt Kenseth in these final laps?
He's right there.
This 5 car, this is the car that Ricky Hendrick was driving. This is his team.
Not that corner. 4 laps to go.
Try on the inside this time. Yep, he's going to the basement. He's sliding up the track. Wow, that was close.
Lost a little bit of traction, had to slide up, and wisely backed off the throttle just enough to miss the 17 car. But he lost his momentum.
He's got the 38 now to worry about.
That's right.
Casey Kane's right there.
You heard the report from pit road earlier. Kyle Busch didn't want to hear about championship points today. All he wanted to do was win this race. He was trying off of turn 2 a lap ago. Boy, was he trying.
And try again. It's a good run off the high side, off the 2. Boy, that thing gets down the straightaways too.
Truex is running lead lap, 13th place, after the repairs on the pit stops earlier. 2 laps to go.
Kenseth looks like he's just a little bit better down in 3 and 4 than Busch's car. Ooh, bobbled a little bit there. 17 car. Matt Kenseth's got a little bit loose. Trying to run that bottom.
Oh, trouble. Clint Boyer, Reed Sorensen. Caution flag is out. Oh, more cars involved. They're still spinning off their turn 2.
There's a lot of damage to that 21 car.
Finally, the smoke clears. Report is maybe that Reed Sorensen had a flat tire, Marty, to start that?
Yeah, Reed Sorensen had been telling Brian Patty under the caution, I think I have a left front flat. They looked at it with binoculars and looked up, so they told him to keep on going. He said, I'm telling you guys, before we go green, something is wrong with the left front of this race car.
Oh, that's a shame.
Well, that shot, the tires are up on the left side. So it might have been something else.
Well, just his 3rd NASCAR Busch Series start. The hometown folks certainly knew Reed Sorensen was here today.
Well, they did. He did a terrific job. Let me see what might have happened over there. There he goes in the corner. Oh, he just ran the back of the 21 car.
Yeah.
Did Truex just get hit again coming through there?
I don't know. I think so.
If we see that angle again, I think he gets tapped in the back, but saves it.
41 car just gets a bite off the corner and just runs right in the back of Clint Boyer.
That is the downside to being 18, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man. Oh, boy. Watch for the 8 car on this one. He gets bumped from behind by J.J. Yaley and makes the save.
Hornaday does a good job hanging on to that. There's the 8 car up in the high side.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
He did get hit.
Did he ever get bumped?
Woo.
He feels like Earnhardt last weekend.
Yeah, but he's still on the lead lap. He got through it. The field is going to be stopped over here on the front straightaway and put under the red flag. There are bits and pieces of race cars scattered down the backstretch from where the wreck victims drove away. So they want to get out and pick all that up before we go to a green-white checker finish.
We've seen a lot of those this year, aren't we?
So here we go under the red flag.
Something Matt Kenseth doesn't want to see, but yeah, Kyle Busch and Casey Kane do.
Dave Burns.
With Lance McGrew now. Okay, he drives that car really hard in there and almost looks like he overdrives it. Can he catch the 17?
Yeah, I mean, you just never know. But I tell you what, I am so proud of this. I'm so proud to be a part of this race team. With everything that we've gone through this week, the Hendrick family, all the other families involved in the accident last weekend. Win, lose, or draw, today is a win for this team. We showed up, we gave it everything we had, and we're right in contention, and it's, 2 to go.
And guys, I would say either way, that's a winning crew chief interview.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Can you do this?
No. Well, I don't think.
They see the official stepping in. The red flag was just put out. They just got the field entirely stopped, so now they can't.
Okay, they can look at it. They can figure out what they're going to do.
Yep.
But they can't do anything until the red flag is taken away.
Unless it's leaking, I don't think I'd do anything. I'm not going to have a whole lot of time. Matt, who do you got down there?
Paul Andrews, Casey Kane's crew chief. Well, how is your car on a short run?
Yeah, it'd be better if we were in front. I definitely like our chances a lot more. I think we were going to come in when we had 11 to go and had to run. I think I liked our chances real thin, but this restart here didn't take off as good. Got a little bit behind, but now we got another shot at it. Hopefully we can go up there and pull it off. We'll see. It's pretty good in the short runs overall, though, really, and pretty good in long runs, too. So we'll have to see.
One Busch Series win last year, November at Homestead, trying for win number 2 today.
So Casey Kane trying to get around first. Kyle Busch. There's Brian Vickers on the pit box of the team he drove for last year to the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Remembering their friend Ricky Hendrick, the team owner, one of the 10 lost in the plane crash last Sunday, and hoping Kyle Busch can find a way around Matt Kenseth in these final couple of laps to the checkers and pull out a victory.
Kyle's going to try.
got to get a really good start on the restart. Can't let Matt get 1 or 2 car lengths ahead, but Matt's pretty good at this himself. So.
I know we talked about this earlier, but for people who may have joined us during the broadcast, certainly for this racing community, Benny, being here at the racetrack and competing in action is a good thing for them to be doing.
And the adrenaline they have going now with Kyle Busch trying to win this race, that is a good thing, just like Lance McGrew talked about. And, you know, I talked to Lance this morning, and you know, we've heard all week about how unselfish that Ricky Hendrick was. Probably the most unselfish thing he's ever done is step out of this car, because after all, it was his team. He could do anything he wanted, but he told Lance, I'm holding this team back because I've been in a couple of bad crashes. I'm not driving this car up to its potential. I'm holding the team back, and I'll never be a part of that. So he stepped aside as a driver to let the team fulfill its capability, and that's pretty doggone unselfish.
Of course, the team went on to capture the Busch Series championship last year. And now Kyle Busch running second in the championship, second in this race in that 5-car, trying to pull off a victory for Hendrick Motorsports today. Cleaning up down the back straightaway after the accident, brought out all kinds of bits and pieces of brake rotors and body panels and all the rest. And so it's going to be a couple of minutes before we get back under the green flag and finish this thing up.
Stuff that can make a tire go flat can easily puncture these tires. Matt?
BP, I spoke with Lance McGrew this morning. He told me when he was walking in the gate at 6:30 this morning, his cell phone rang. He pulled it out, and it was Rick Hendrick calling to give him and the 5 team encouragement, telling them that he was thinking about them today as they were racing here in Atlanta.
You knew he would be.
Well, yeah, you knew he would.
Of course, tomorrow, 5 Hendrick Motorsports teams will be in competition here in Atlanta for 500 miles in the NASCAR Next L Cup Series. A couple of them in that chase for the championship, hoping to get a boost in their title hopes. Jimmy Johnson winning 2 consecutive races back-to-back at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte and also in Martinsville. He'll go for the 3-peat here tomorrow. And Jeff Gordon moving up to 2nd in the championship after the Martinsville race last Sunday, going to seek a 5th Atlanta Motor Speedway win that he hopes might propel him on to a championship he's become very determined to try and capture.
And we talked about Gordon moving in the 2nd spot, going by Dale Earnhardt Jr. last week in Martinsville. And I just mentioned Slugger Labbe being in charge of mechanical problems. He said when he heard Junior talking about last week his car vibrating, he felt like he knew it was the rear gear, so he had gone to the truck, got one, he had it ready, and that's his job now, to make sure that everything is there to fix the 8 in the Busch, 8 in the Cup.
If they can have quality control coaches in football, they can have somebody in charge of crash repair in Next L Cup, right?
Exactly.
Oh, was it 204 when we got in here?
208.
208.
Gained a few, but with only 3 to go after this, that's not going to be enough.
Martin Truex has got to feel like the cat with 9 lives. I mean, after today, you know?
Yeah.
Even thinking back to Kansas. Remember when he was involved in the wreck early in the Kansas race and thought, boy, this is going to be a terrible day, and then Kyle Busch turns around and gets swept up in something and evened back up. And same here today. Martin's in now a couple of problems and comes through them both in fine shape. Car may not look all that fine.
He's lucky it's been at the end of the race. This happened the first 15 or 20 laps. It could have been a disaster for him today, points-wise.
But Truex sitting under the red flag now in 10th place and on the lead lap, and with an opportunity to gain a couple of more spots in these final laps. Show you how he got to this point in the Aaron's 312. Big Rex started us off, thought it was going to be one of these kind of days.
Mike McLaughlin 25, 20 of Mike Bliss, and the 1 of Casimir get together off turn 1, and also Johnny Sauter pounds the inside wall. All drivers were okay.
Jason Keller was involved in that wreck as well.
5 cars in the opening laps of the race.
Bad luck for Shane Meal.
Man, he had the lead in the 32 car, had gone to the front, and the transmission broke while leading.
Pit stops, lap 62 for the leaders. Reed Sorensen in the Ganassi 41. A little contact, knocked out a little bit of his grill, but he would remain a contender for a good finish until moments ago.
He knocked down a lot more of that grill a little while ago.
Never see he in the 5, the 41 of Sorensen and the 5 of Kyle Busch, a great battle.
Now, here's where things started to go downhill for the championship leader, Truex. He and David Stremme get together racing for 6th spot. Cuts down Truex's left rear tire. Drops debris on the racetrack. He gets the lucky dog, stays on the lead lap, then gets caught up in this.
Paul Menard, the 11 car, spins. Randy LaJoie 6, and Tim Fido in 12 involved. And never seen 8 cars spinning around, but puts it in gear and drives away.
So they get a restart with 5 to go. And with 2 laps to go in the race, this happens.
Sorensen runs in the back of Clint Boyer.
Ran him over.
And the 8 car, once again, was just so fortunate to get through this.
He was right in the middle of it. Just got bumped, but managed to save it. So we went under the red flag to clean up the debris from that. And that is where we sit with a green-white checker finish coming up. And a total of probably 11 cars on the lead lap when we go to finish this thing. Matt Kenseth started from 28th position in this race, moved up to take the lead for the first time at lap 54. Did not take him long to come through the field. Took the lead for the final time thus far at lap 189. We're at lap 203 now. And if Kenseth goes on to win this race, he'll have won from the farthest back in the starting field than anyone has before in the Busch Series here at Atlanta. A break while they finish the cleanup. Come back for the final shootout. After what's happened these last couple of restarts, who knows what's going to happen this time. Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Aaron's 312 about to get a little more than those 12 extra miles, actually, as we get set for an overtime green-white checker finish after a late red flag. Cars parked along the front straightaway, waiting the resumption of competition after an accident off of turn number 2 with 2 laps to go. Dropped a lot of stuff on this racetrack.
All right, let's see if we can talk to Matt Kenseth while he waits for the... Hey, Matt Kenseth, Benny Parsons, you got me?
You Benny?
Hey, you got some pretty fast cars behind you. How you going to keep them back there?
Good question. I don't know. This Express Personnel Services cars have been good all day. We just don't have a lot of power. You know, Edgar and the guys are back home working really hard looking for it, and we have the cylinder head coming next year. But I'm pretty good in the corners. Just a little work. That 5 will run down the straightaway. Good friend of mine, Randy Dork, has built awesome engines at Hendrick, and that thing just runs down the straightaway. So we got to get a big jump on this restart and hope we can get away a little bit.
So that's the plan. Try to get as big a lead as you can on the green flag.
Try to get out there as far as we can and hope for the best. So, he got a pretty good run on me last time. Last time I left the restart and never lifted till I got to turn 3, and he was ready to pass me getting into 3. So he definitely is a motor, and so I got to get a good start.
Well, go there and talk to the 38 car and see if he can't try to pass the 5 and let the 5 worry about the 38. That'd be the plan.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. If I had a long stick here, I could let some air out of his right front. That'd probably help too.
Well, good luck to you, Matt.
Race leader Matt Kenseth as he sits under the red flag waiting for this thing to get going. What's it like sitting in that race car under the red flag when you're so close to the finish?
Well, you want to get going. I mean, you want to get finished, and obviously Matt is worried about that 5. That 5 has been very, very strong on the restarts, and it's very strong on the straightaways. We pointed that out a little while ago. But there's a lot of stuff going through Matt's head trying to figure out how I'm going to keep these guys behind me, block, do whatever I got to do to try to keep behind me. And then the other guys next to him right there are figuring out, what am I going to do to get around him? And that's the biggest thing, is a restart, like Matt said, is the most important thing. If you can get just a little bit of a jump on those other guys, then you can hold them off. But if you just struggle on the restart, they're going to pounce on you.
Let's try Casey Kane, see what he has to say. Casey Kane, Benny Parsons, got me?
Yeah, I got you, Benny.
You got anything for those 2 cars in front of you?
I had about 10 laps. We'd have something for sure, but it's tough, man. We're running just about wide open out here, and I can't get going for about a lap and a half, so we'll see what happens. Tires might be worn out enough that we can get to the outside of one of these guys.
But you are going to try to do it on the outside, right?
Well, yeah, who knows? Whatever's open, I guess, at this point.
With 2 laps to go, that's right. Whatever opening you have. Good luck, Casey.
Thanks.
All right.
Casey Kane.
He's not going to tell you.
I just thought he might. I mean, we're not going to tell anybody.
We're not going to tell anybody. They may be listening.
Oh, that's true.
He was just trying to bait him, that's all. They have refired the cars.
He started with you on the outside, then he went, I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure.
Here are the rules for the green, white, checkered finish. It's just exactly what it is. They wave the green flag, they run a lap, wave the white flag, run a lap, wave the checkered flag.
Now, if a caution flag, if a wreck happens, something happens in these 2 laps, the race is over. They're going to try this once.
Yeah. So a 12-minute, 23-second red flag to clean up the mess down the back straightaway. And something working in the favor of the guys behind Matt Kenseth trying to overtake him, the fact that this will be a single file restart, just the lead lap cars at the front of the line like it was before. I think that helps them.
It does help them because there isn't a car down. If the 5 car can really get a good run, he can get on the inside of the 17 going down to turn 1.
Hendrick Motorsports Group looking on. Lance McGrew, the crew chief, on the left. It's Brian Vickers in the center.
Who drove this car last year to the NASCAR Busch Series Championship.
Let me tell you a story about the backwards hat that's kind of funny. Last year down at the NASCAR Busch Series Championship banquet, when Ricky Hendrick, the team owner, and Brian Vickers, the driver, were going to receive their Busch Series Championship trophies, Ricky came up with a little gag that he wanted to do. He said, you know, my dad, he just doesn't like it when we wear our hats backwards. He said, it's a generation thing, I know, but he gave everybody on the team hats. And he said, on my cue, we're going to all put these hats on backwards. Yeah, they're sitting there in their tuxedos and so on, and they did that and handed a hat to Rick, and my gosh, he turned it around and put it on backwards and said, I'm with you. So salute to Ricky Hendrick, I'm sure, for Brian Vickers as he watches Kyle Busch try to score a victory in a green-white checker finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's got to overcome the defending Nextel Cup champion to do it, Matt Kenseth.
And next year, Kyle Busch will be racing with Kenseth over in NASCAR Nextel Cup. He was announced he will be the driver of the Kellogg's number 5 next year.
Here's what I was talking about last year. Tuxedos, tails.
I know. I'm glad that table's in between me and yes.
There he goes.
Yes.
It was fun. So can Kyle Busch get around Matt Kenseth and pick up the win? I tell you, it's not going to be for lack of effort if he's not able to. That's for sure.
Problem is just driving it in too hard, which is easy to do here. And that's, you know, you're trying to beat him and driving too hard and slide up the racetrack. That's what it looks like happened to Kyle Busch last time.
I'll tell you what, there's some NASCAR Nextel Cup teams. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Terry Labonte would love to be in this position tomorrow night, being this close to victory.
A chance to win.
Chance to win.
Yeah. 1 to go when they come back to the line, so we're a lap and a third away from the restart. Matt Kenseth in search of what would be his 3rd NASCAR Busch Series win of the season. Pretty good record for Kenseth this year. 12 races, 7 top 6 finishes. And here in Atlanta, a pair of runner-up finishes to his credit in 2000 and 2003. A 16-time winner in the NASCAR Busch Series. And Kenseth looking to hold on for victory number 3 this season. And he's going to have to do it in 2 laps over Kyle Busch and Casey Kane. Nice job by Robbie Gordon. He's kind of quietly eased his way up through some of these late laps mayhem into 4th place.
Sure is. You know, Matt Kenseth, when we talked to him, mentioned his horsepower situation. You know, this year in NASCAR Nextel Cup, the Fords were able to use a new cylinder head, and about mid-year they got those perfected, and they're on the cars, and it did bring the horsepower gap much closer, Fords and the other vehicles. In NASCAR Busch Series, that engine, those heads are not legal. So what Kenseth is saying right now, he probably is at a 20-25 horsepower disadvantage to those 2 cars behind him.
In a place like Atlanta,
you need horsepower.
Anywhere. Tough to give up horsepower at any racetrack.
Experience versus youth. Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch with Casey Kane lurking behind. 2-lap sprint to the finish. Matt Kenseth referencing his friend Randy Dorton. put the engine under the hood of this 5-car for Hendrick Motorsports, his engine department. One of those being remembered here today that Kyle Busch would love to celebrate in victory lane 2 laps from now. Fans on their feet, tension on the pit box, pace car is off. 2 laps to the checkered flag in Atlanta.
Matt got a good jump.
He did. He got a great start. But does that give the 5-car just a good run at him down the backstretch? There's no backing off. Wide open to that corner. Both those cars.
Yeah, you'll see the 5-car close up on the back of the 17. Look at that thing go down the straightaways. Wow.
Coming to the white flag.
There's an opening there. Can he get on the bottom? Can he get to the bottom? Not quite.
Final lap, Kenseth and Kyle Busch. Casey Kane not a factor for now.
This is where he's been better. Matt's been better in 3 and 4. Here's where Busch has been better, 1 and 2.
Just can't get there. One final set of corners. Kenseth protecting the bottom. Kyle Busch not able to get up and make a move. Matt Kenseth is going to hold on and score the win in the Aaron's 312. Martin Truex able to finish 9th, protect most of his championship lead. Wasn't for a lack of trying on Kyle Busch's part.
No, it wasn't. He wanted it.
But Matt Kenseth picks up his 3rd NASCAR Busch Series win of 2004.
Good job, Kyle Busch and crew, after all that.
28th to victory lane for Kenseth today, Dave.
With Kelly Barraclough, the crew chief, and had to do a little more than you thought he might have to hold off at the end there.
I'm more nervous now than I was in the beginning.
How did he do that, Cully?
I think he just held it down to the mat and said, come get me. But I want to wish all the best to the racing families back home. It's kind of a somber, you want to be happy because you won, but every time you put a grin on your face, 2 seconds later you start thinking about it. Makes it kind of hard, but I'm proud of the guys that came and did their job. They had a really good pit stop on the last one. Other than that, happy and sad occasion.
Very professional job today by the 17 bunch, guys.
And very well said.
Yeah, sure was.
Very well said. Showing you the results across the bottom of your screen as we await Matt Kenseth's arrival in the winner's circle. We'll tell you that Matt Kenseth posted his 17th career NASCAR Busch Series victory, moves him into sole possession of 10th place on the all-time win list, putting him past the tie he was in with Joni Machek and Jeff Green and Greg Biffle.
Have Marty read the roof before he starts.
Yeah, make sure he knows who it is. He's going to hit you later. Dave?
Kyle at the end with just a 2-lap dash. Not quite enough. What are your feelings?
I didn't have enough. 17 beat us.
And Kyle, thinking of things today, obviously, guys, tried his best there at the end.
He gave it a great ride. 1 place short today. But under the most difficult circumstances imaginable, what a terrific job by he and his team. Your championship leader, Martin Truex, came up with a 9th place finish, Matt.
A very, very strong performance there with a 9th place finish, Martin. I know you're frustrated, but big picture-wise, what a rebound today.
Yeah, just, you know, it's the way we've been all year. We don't give up, and just sucks that stuff happens. You know, you get close to cars around here, you're going so fast, and it just sucks you together. And you know, I'm sure David didn't mean to do it, but, you know, it's half my fault for not letting him go. It's half his fault for getting so close to my door, and it just sucks that it happens. But, you know, great day. We had a good car. We battled all day long. We were loose, and we got it good, and we got loose again and got it good again, and just we had a top 5 car, just, you know, circumstances, but overall good day.
Ninth place finish for the championship point leader, Martin Truex Jr.
And our Reese's victory celebration about to get underway in the winner's circle, where Matt Kenseth is about to be greeted by Marty Snyder.
And it's win number 3 of the season for Matt Kenseth. We've talked about what an emotional week it's been for everybody in NASCAR racing. It's also been an emotional week for Matt Kenseth, who lost his very, very good friend Randy Dorton in that airplane crash in Virginia. And an emotional win for you, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the fans get mad when you don't do big burnouts, but today's kind of about respect, you know. There's not a minute that went by all week or, you know, even during the race, I haven't thought about Rick and his family and, you know, Randy Dorton and all the people lost. Kind of a sad day.
And you had to hold off Kyle Busch there at the end, too.
Yeah, it was a good race. Our Express Personnel Services Ford handled really well all day, and we were pretty good on a short run. So Cully and all these guys behind me did a good job. I've been on them about their pit stops, and last pit stop they beat the 38 out of the pits, and that's what we needed to win.
He told his guys, you redeemed yourself for that last stop. He said, guys, this car is going to Homestead because we can win the race there, too.
So Matt Kenseth, the winner today, and you look at the championship standings with now 3 races to go in the NASCAR Busch Series season.
And we see that Kyle Busch gained a few points, but not enough with just 3 races to go.
An average 10th place finish for Martin Truex Jr. will do the job in these final 3 races and pick him up the championship for 2004. Tomorrow, NBC noon Eastern time, NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Atlanta, presented by the Home Depot. We start with a very special Discover Card countdown to green, remembering those lost in the tragedy of last Sunday, and we hope that you'll join us. Then we'll turn our attention to racing and the chase for the Nextel Cup as Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. continue their fight for the championship over 500 miles here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next on TNT, Law and Order on the East Coast in the heat of the night on the West Coast. Kyle Busch gave it his all today, but Matt Kenseth came home the winner of the Aaron's 312. You've been watching NASCAR on TNT.